gentlemen, this is rumor control. Here are the facts.
I feel like I just took a bath in battery acid.
Testing 1, 2. Is this thing on? Yeah, it's going to be a good discussion. Don't worry, Mr. Fiasco. Speaking of fiascos, I'll explain to you why I'm just a touch late today. Before we do that, oh, Ned has entered the building. Good timing, Ned. Very good timing. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. I was wondering if you could hear me over the top of the music there. But before we get started, hey, what's this all about?
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much.
This is high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
Sounds a little shaky to me, but you guys can decide now. Check this out. Feel pretty confident with these two, with these two Agent Smiths right here. How is it this is like the Keystone Cops, man. These three chicks. Oh my God! Wait, we have to do. Does that seem like a setup to you? I don't know.
Anyway, Nick Fuentes, I don't know because I don't care. A well-known anti-Semitic boy
Boy. This was the bonus content I got this week. Oh my God.
After me, along with his thousands of anti-Semitic followers, because I said that people who use the hashtag filth or rats when referring to an entire nation of people should be censored. Like I said, this was after I got attacked for retweeting a medical doctor who had the original anti-Semitic post, retweeting it in a negative way. Again, I meant these people's content shouldn't be pushed by the algorithm.
The lamb in the background is killing me. I don't know about you guys.
Shouldn't have said censored. And Nick Fuentes responds with, your dad called me a rat. And I would like to clarify, I think calling individuals rats or whatever is fine, particularly if they are rat-like. I think it's
okay, Michaela, you're a rat.
It's different when you're referring to an entire nation of people as rats that have been subject to, say, Hitler less than 100 years ago, when the Nazis of the 1930s also referred to those people as rats as a tactic to breed disgust.
Okay, she said that, not me.
So yeah, I think referring to Jews as rats is completely different than referring to Nick Fuentes as a rat. And if you can't understand the differentiation, I can't help. Social well-known anti.
Sorry, I have to pause this right here because this is the icing on the cake for me this week, because not only are Nick and Michaela going at it, Michaela's too stupid to realize that everyone knows that she's the one tweeting behind her dad's account and has been doing so. Has been running her dad's Twitter account for probably about 3 years now.
When the Nazis of the 1930s also referred to those people as rats as a tactic to breed disgust. So yeah, I think referring to Jews as rats is completely different than referring to Nick Fuentes as a rat. And if you can't understand the differentiation, I can't help. Social media really allows views to propagate unnaturally. If some of these anti-Semitic tweets were spoken in an ordinary public setting, the individual would be being punched.
You mean like Richard Spencer?
But then these views grow and their followers go out into public thinking everyone agrees with that view. I don't think freedom of speech is the same thing as being pushed by an algorithm.
I heartily 100% disagree.
I shouldn't have to go on TikTok to hide propaganda pushed by the Chinese government, and I don't want to go on X to hide Nazi posts from my feed. Nothing
Yes, but your feed is also your dad's feed.
against Elon here. I think there are bots or fake accounts behind a lot of this, and possibly funding from Iran, and I know he's trying to get that under control.
Everywhere. Everyone but you. Everyone but you.
Associated with a certain period of time in young men's lives, typically the teens in the early 20s, heightened levels of risk-taking, reduced self-control and inhibition. If you look at rates of criminality, for example, they tend to peak at around age 19. And this is true regardless of culture and society, sort of all across the world in non-industrialized hunter-gatherer communities, all the way up to sort of wealthy and rich societies, that it's the young men. If you look at who's committing the crime in that society, it's inevitably going to be sort of men aged, say, roughly 15 to maybe 24. Even things like so this is just in the U.S. context, likelihood of being hospitalized for punching walls. There was a nice graph I saw, and I posted it online, of the sort of the distribution of young or men, just men in general, being hospitalized for, and it's all concentrated again from 15 to 24. It's like 10-year-olds aren't being hospitalized for punching walls, and neither are 60-year-olds. It's all that sort of young male group, and I'll admit I've punched walls before.
We're just really stressed. I thought.
By the way, that was in the Fort Lauderdale airport, which I've been in like several times. Oh my God. I remember those days. I do. I am not too big a guy to admit it. I remember those days. That's you want to know borderline personality disorder, the face of borderline personality disorder? Yeah, somebody who was, I think it was Tiffany Fox sent me that video. I mean, it's been making the rounds and everything else, but I thought it was interesting because like a lot of those sorry, I only use like 5 videos today because I kind of want to jump into things today. I wasn't going to do this show today. I actually had a whole lot of other things lined up for us, and I still might just get back into that just because I don't know. I don't like doing politics. I really don't. But there's a confluence here, and I kind of have to address a few things. People keep saying, well, Rolo says he's not going to pivot to politics. I'm not pivoting to politics, for fuck's sake. No, but I kind of have to sometimes when I, like my would you like me to restate my policy? My policy is this, I don't do politics. I don't do ethnicity, race. I don't do that. I don't do religion per se. I don't do, ethno-nationalism. I don't do supremacism. I don't do any of that stuff. Okay. But if there's a confluence, if there's some crossover, let's just say between the red pill and like red pill intersexual dynamics and those topics, then that's fair game. So yes, that's why I wrote an entire book called The Rational Male Religion. Thank you very much. But that book is exactly what I just said. It's the confluence of intersexual dynamics and red pill and religion, because that's a very, very pertinent, important topic to discuss. Now, I don't get into the nuts and bolts of epistemology and all that other crap. I get into just here's how this intersects with this. That's pretty much what it's about, and that's what I'm going to do today. I did a gosh, I had to go back over some of my more political posts on the Rational Male, because I didn't really put any of those in any of my books. On my blog, I should say. I didn't put any of my sort of socio-political essays. I mean, maybe a couple, I think, maybe in positive masculinity. But other than that, I kind of shy away from that, simply because there's people that do it better than me. There's people that would, like, I could be a political commentator, but are you going to take me seriously? I don't, after doing 22 years of red pill content. I get it. It's fine. Really. I'll be the red pill guy. You guys toddle off and go pivot to politics or social issues or the culture war or whatever the hell it is that you want to talk about. That's fine. I'll be over here when you guys decide that the red pill's worth revisiting, which you will probably around, I don't know, maybe February of 2025, when all this political stuff stops playing and all of the social stuff that everybody is into and all the things that Rumble basically has told everyone, all of the people that they, the employer of so many podcasts today, will tell you that this is what you need to go and do. And this is what we want to see happen. And so what happens is when you sort of make a deal with that, I mean, this is no flame on Rumble, but the thing is that I don't think that the powers that be understand content creation. And that has been made more clear to me recently, because I've been putting together Red One Studios in a much more, let's just say, accelerated rate right now. So we did the very first Access Vegas at Red One Studios on Thursday. We still have a lot to learn. Yes, thank you very much for all of your input about the audio and all the input about the video and everything else. We were making do with 3 cameras and 8 mics. And I think that producer Kyle did a stellar job, which is, by the way, why I'm here today and not down there, because Kyle's been working anywhere between 13 and 15-hour days, putting in, like, between my interview with Robert Kiyosaki, which was on Friday. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I was actually pretty proud of that interview, because I didn't have to get a manual review on it. It was instantly greenlit. So I was very happy with that. So go check that out. It was a very good discussion, mainly about divorce, mainly about marriage, divorce, and sort of like intersexual dynamics with regard to the economy. See, I don't do economics either. I leave that up to the professionals like George Gammon or Robert Kiyosaki or Ken McElroy or Jason Hartman or any of these other guys who know what the hell they're talking about. Probably more than, I mean, not that I don't, but it's like far more than I do. So there's people who do it better, who've been doing it longer. Let them have their moment, please. Don't jump it. Stay in your motherfucking lane. That's pretty much the long and the short of it. So, but yeah, I thought it was great. You're going bald. Please stop. Paul, would you like me to send you to my Instagram where you can go and rub one out to my luxurious long hair? I'd be happy to. Here, look, see, I'm not going bald. Look, this is actually my real fucking hair. See? Got it? Good. Thank you. Would you like me to do more shows with my, I'll do a halfback. You want me to just do a halfback? I could do that. Yeah. Oh, everyone wants to say, oh, you're bald. I might shave my head tomorrow. Then what would happen? I won't be cutting my hair anytime soon. You know why? Because I just got my new band back. I got my new band together. So here, my Vegas band, my Vegas project is now official. So I don't have a name for it yet, but all the members are there. We've already got just about 6 songs done. So we're probably going to be ready to play out. Oh, it's a wig. Yes, sure. Wait, here's that attention you wanted, Joe. Yeah, it's funny. And even if I was bald, who fucking cares? Do you like Rich Cooper's bald? Do you give him shit? Who else is bald? Joe Maron's bald. Who else is bald? I'm trying to think who else is bald. You know what's funny is, like, I had this, somebody tried to pull that shit on us on Access Vegas. See, now you see, oh, Rolo can't stay on topic. Yeah, because of you guys. That's why. No, somebody threw that question at us on threw that question at us on Access Vegas. Well, ladies, what do you think about a guy who's balding? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And I read it out. I'm like, so yeah, sure. Here you go. Of course, they were like, well, I love a bald dude if he's jacked. There you go. Wes Watson is bald. You are correct. Are you going to give him shit about people? Wes Watson will fucking like squeeze you like a pimple. The Rock is bald. You're right. Trying to think who else is. Oh, who's that other dude? No, he wasn't in Fast and Furious. Maybe he wasn't Fast and Furious. Oh, Marquette. Marquette is bald. You were correct. How come you guys don't give him shit? How come you don't give Marquette shit about being bald? How come you don't give Marquette, Rich Cooper, like before you come to me, and you can see that I do actually have hair. See, this is actually anybody who knows me, this is my real hair. Okay. So before you come to me, I expect you to make the rounds first. You have to go give shit to Rich Cooper. You have to go give shit to Marquette. You have to go give shit to Wes Watson. Like, are those the guys and you know what? You have to do it in person. Go face to face. I'll take your shit online. You have to go to them in person before you start giving me shit. Then I'll give you the attention you've been seeking. Jason Statham. That's it. That's the dude. Like, really? The girls are the funniest thing is like the girls are like, yeah, well, if he's jacked, he doesn't look like Moby. If he doesn't look like Moby, then I guess then they're hot for him. Doesn't look like a cancer patient. Yes, that's funny. Vin Diesel is bald. You're correct. Jonas, you are bald. Well, welcome to the club, my friend. Yes. Wearing your baldness openly is a standard. Moby was bald, right? He was, but I don't know if women get the same vibe from Moby as they would from like Vin Diesel. By the way, if you're wondering whatever happened to Devil Mountain Coffee, I think they went out of business, which is kind of sad to me. I have Devil Mountain, actual Devil Mountain in here today. Which, by the way, has 1,555 milligrams of caffeine per 12-ounce cup. And this is probably about, I don't know, 20-ounce cup. Andrew Tate is bald. You are correct. Why are you not giving Tate shit? See, you guys are ridiculous. See, the thing is like people go, we like, what is it? I forget what the acronym is, but it's something like shame, something, right? Like, shame is the one thing. It's like, dude, you can't shame the shameless. I have no shame. So let's try a different tact, okay? You can't shame people who don't have shame. Anyways, I brought I wanted to bring to bear that this guy right here. Where'd he go? Hold on a minute. All right, so I have to full disclosure, and I have to make one caveat here. I reserve the right to be wrong today. Okay, I reserve the right to be wrong because I don't usually do shows like this so early. But this shit happened just yesterday, and excuse me, my show is right now. So why not? The reason I wanted to ask the question, is this guy an incel, is because it's very important considering a lot of the things that have been going on that have been almost like leading up to this. That's why I started with that interview of that guy who was supposedly, like, we don't know any different. Like, there's always that interview of a kid who knew the kid who knew a kid who like, oh, I don't know. He kept to himself. He lived right next door to me, but I never said hi to him or anything. He was just bullied mercilessly. But like, they're basically building this narrative that is a very, very common archetype stereotype. The loner kid who's he's like, what was it in Arnold when, the clenched fist of Arnold in the cartoon Arnold, right? That's the archetype. That, oh wow, he must be an incel. Right? That's why I was asking this, because I think probably what you're going to see, and I'll try to dig some of this stuff up, but one of the things, of course, the instant that this happens, everybody immediately wants to know the name of the guy, right? And I can't say the word. You know what I want? I actually put it in the title. I'm probably going to get screwed for it, but the guy who did the shooting, let's just say. that guy is we instantly want to know what his name is. And of course, if you are an assassin of any, like John Wilkes Booth, right? If you are a political assassin, they immediately, or actually I shouldn't even say that, like really they use it if you're just a mass shooter, but they will instantly use your full name. So this fellow's name, as far as I could tell, is Thomas Matthew Crooks. Thomas Matthew Crooks. Who was the guy that like took a shot at Reagan? I can't remember. Or if you killed like what's his name? John Lennon. Like I can't even remember their names, but like I'm sure it's all, you know, her first, middle, and last name. That's how you know the person is actually the official shooter, right? And by the way, it's not just a modern creation. I mean, this goes back as far as the Kennedy assassination. So, so yeah, if they're using your full name, you know you're in trouble. Rollo J. Tomasi. Who is this masked man? Anyways, his name is Thomas Matthew Crooks, at least as far as I know. Now, why am I sort of putting this caveat in there? Because somebody told me that this guy was also something Urich. Is it Matthew Urich? Not Matthew Urich. It's forget what the guy's name. Anyways, there's some sort of misunderstanding as to what the name and who the actual person is. By my last rec, and I by the way, I did my homework as best as I could within the 24 hour, not even 24 hours yet, of this going down. So, but I wanted to point out a few things here. The reason why I'm asking, was this guy an incel, is because he fits the incel stereotype, which is something that I've been tarred with for a long time. Now, of course, what I did was I threw out the, as I always do whenever I'm putting out one of my shows and I'm advertising it on Twitter. Everyone wants to, you know, chime in on whatever the topic is. And thank you, Sam. Apostle's name plus Crooks. Yeah, of course, you know, what's also funny is, of course, all of the Nick bots want to turn this guy into let's see, one of the tribe, right? Can't say that word either. But they instantly everybody wants to make a connection with this guy and Hasidic, you know who's. So again, everybody wants to sort of redirect the narrative no matter what. And I'm going to try to stay as objective as I possibly can in all of this. But the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because they're already trying to turn this kid into exactly what the DHS and Diverting Hate and NGO, that NGO that has been after me, that's put myself and Rich Cooper and all these other people on their watch list. So it would not surprise me if they try to in some way rejigger this whole narrative to fit an incel archetypal motive. And he was just looking for attention from girls, or people are saying he was an Antifa member. People are like, we don't know just yet. We have no idea. And we're probably not going to ever get the full story, which is kind of like sad, because I realize that once the official narrative out, this is the formation, like the narrative that we're going to hear about for the rest of history right now is in the larval stage, right? Right as we speak, like within the first 24 to 48 hours, that's when the narrative solidifies. It's not solid yet. It hasn't fermented. It's not come to maturation yet. So this is a real important time, or very, very critical time, to watch where the narrative sort of, you know, like an eel in the weeds. Like, if, oh, that wasn't working, so we redirect. Like, we didn't even know who the guy's name was. I still am not 100% sure it's not Urich and not this guy. But apparently that's the latest information that I have. So that's why I'm relating this to you guys. I even had to change the picture of the guy, because apparently the first thumbnail that I had up on there was not actually this kid right here, who kind of he's almost looked, I mean, this is out of his high school or junior, who even knows, man. I don't even know I don't have a current shot of this dude, but I'm fairly certain there's going to be some manifesto that's going to come out. And the other thing is, a lot of people, of course, want to say it's a setup. Again, jury's still out. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. The response of the comical response of the Secret Service agents. Now everyone wants to say, of course, that the Secret Service want Trump to be eliminated. and so therefore are not actually doing their job, such as images like this. I thought this is interesting because these ladies are the ones who are these like real Secret Service people? Like I don't know, because like this chick and like there's at least 2 others along with her, so I think there was like at least 3 women there. And then I looked at this kind of stuff right here. I'm pretty sure that's this, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's the one behind him, but I'm sure that's probably the same broad as the other one behind there. I'm not 100% sure, but so not only do we like this is a great story for Rollo, man. I'll tell you, because not only do we have sort of this, dereliction of duty from, and people want to say it's like intentional, but who knows, right? The dereliction of duty on the part of the FBI and the security agents there, which was absolutely comical. But then there's the responses from everyone else. Of course, everyone's going to do these shows, right? I think a lot of people, maybe they're avoiding it right now, but within the next stuff, hell, probably by this afternoon, you're going to see a lot of people doing this story. They're not going to do it the way I'm going to do it, because I'm going to hit it from a red pill angle, but because no one does red pill anymore except for Rollo. If you want the red pill, you come. This is your channel. No one else. This is the source now, because no one else wants to do it. But the narrative is now in the larval stage. So bear in mind, like this is where it's really important to pay attention to how they manipulate the story. And after a while, no one will care. I'm going to go full Mike Sartain on you. And you know what? I love Mike like a brother. I really do. I mean, he's like one of my best friends. Are they deleting videos? On who? On this kind of stuff? They might be. Thanks, Offline Mafia. We got you. You know what? I don't. Hey, this is spamming. You don't have to do this. But thank you for the message anyways. You don't have to block. Don't block that guy. Don't block that guy. Okay, thanks. So yeah, this is a critical moment. Like Secret Service failed on. Yeah, was it Secret Service failed on? You guys, by the way, if you want to get a super chat in or something like that, I'm more than happy to like have some sort of conversations about this. Secret Service failed on a few levels, pre-screening and reaction times. Not all bad, but they failed a few levels. I have seen stories from, or I saw a Reddit post. I don't know if this is legit. Again, everything I say right now is hearsay, so take everything that Rollo says in this show with a grain of salt. None of this is official, but what I was watching, I was, of course, immediately go trolling Reddit. And then apparently, now this is allegedly, one of the guys who was one of the snipers that was on top of the roof there that took the shot at the guy from across the way, had already identified, there was already an identification of the guy. There was a ladder that was placed on if you look at the layout of the area in Pennsylvania there, you could see, I don't understand why people simply didn't have Secret Service over. It wasn't that far away. It was 130 yards, which is, by the way, yeah, that's a shot, man. That's a football field and 30 more yards. That's a hell of a shot. So I'm not saying that guy did or didn't do his job, because I don't know. But there was a Reddit thread where the guy was saying that he was not allowed. He was not given the permission to take the shot until after the first shot had grazed President Trump, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but there is a Reddit thread that's going around, and it's supposed to be by the guy who was actually the sniper. But again, take that with a grain of salt. It's anonymous. Nobody knows. It's on Reddit. Who cares? However, the reason I'm relating this is because people are going to jump on this, and they're going to add that to the gumbo, the jambalaya that is this developing story right now. So what do you got here? Homeworld 3. Yes, I love Homeworld 3. Women in space forgiving each other. Yeah, the storyline is kind of weak, but I don't care. I like this. I like the ship-to-ship combat. You guys must know that I really like Homeworld. If INCEL is, can you not type that out? Is just a placeholder for socially inadequate man-child, then almost all offenders fit the profile. You're correct in that, yes. And that's by design, I should say. Straight white male, you see the video of one of the female Secret Service agents trying to holster her weapon. Yeah, I saw that as well. There's all that image is not going away. And of course, the main image of Trump, lifting up his fist and the American flag floating in the breeze behind him. That, by the way, is probably going to be as iconic as George Bush on the aircraft carrier with the big banner that said "Mission Accomplished" on the back of it. Not for the same reasons, but I think that it'll probably end up being. There's already T-shirts that are made up about it. So, Rolo, I appreciate you and your work. You put the paper to the dynamics. The dynamics in the dating and relationship that speak to my entire dating relationship experience. So good to know I was not the only one. Thank you. Thank you very much. And by the way, you can go get my book on Amazon right now. Actually, all 5 of them. Is this really the real Rachel? I don't know if that is. Do you not know what the stream raid is or what chat redirect is? I do actually know what it is. Is everybody are you guys being pushed over here? Thank you. Because I noticed a big influx of people. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I was going to say the American flag. That image is probably going to end up being as iconic as like George Bush on the aircraft carrier with a "Mission Accomplished" thing in the back of it. But obviously for a different reason. Oh, did you? Thank you. Oh man, thank you, Rachel. It means Andrew just ended his stream and diverted his entire. Oh, geez, thank you. Oh, much appreciated. Yeah, I'm of the opinion right now that people are going to start to turn this guy into the incel will be the incel. Oh, okay. All right. Well, now I have the official answer from Jedediah Bila. I was actually waiting to see if Jed would come on the show with me today because Jed's been on fire about this on Twitter. She's off the grid right now, so she's not going to be joining us, but I was kind of hoping she was. So that's my excuse for being a little bit late today. I was kind of hoping she was going to get back to me. So I sent me over a raid. Why? Thank you. Thank you very much. I much appreciate that. Yes. Okay. So as far as who is Thomas Matthew Crooks, you know what? I think I'm just going to play it. Now, this is Reuters. I don't care what you think of Reuters. Let's see. Did I get it right? Okay. Yeah, I did. Okay. I don't. Whatever you think of Reuters, I mean, I'm going with the AP News stuff. This is supposed to be the official shit, so we'll see how it works out. But I'm going to play this video. I'm going to share my screen with you guys just real quick here. And let's see, share my screen. And there we go. All right. Share the audio. Yeah. Okay. So this is straight off of Reuters right now. Who is Thomas Matthew Crooks, the suspected Trump rally shooter? What is getting me right now is the fact that this guy they seem to only be able to find like shots like this, like his junior high school yearbook. I'm also a little concerned with that shirt that he's got on there, which looks like it's very like sort of, what is it, Mount Rushmore and very patriotic kind of thing. So I'm wondering if again, this isn't sort of a fabrication or a manufacturing of sort of a narrative. So fetal alcohol syndrome. Yes, you're probably it does kind of look like that, doesn't it? What do you got here? Who knows if it has any relevance, but the shooter did appear in a BlackRock ad in 2023. Who knows? But it could also be that they had that guy on tap, had this kid on tap, and they had watches on this guy for a long time. But what's getting me is like I don't seem to be able to find any like modern like shots of him. Some people were saying that he did a video right beforehand. I don't know if that's been 100% confirmed. But this is the guy, and I will play the Reuters video. This is AP. This is public domain. YouTube. Anybody can use this. Thank you. High school yearbook photo of the Trump rally shooting suspect has been released.
I didn't have any interaction with him, but he was like a kid that was always alone. He was always bullied every day. He was just an outcast.
Who the fuck is that lunchbox behind him?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays. So they're going to see someone like that, and they're going to target him because they think it's funny or whatever.
All right, so he's already building a narrative that people are expecting. He's a loner, an outcast, and people bullied him. Sounds like the beginnings of an incel, correct?
So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Take a look at what happened.
You guys catch that? That's the female bodyguards. What are we doing? Where are we going? I don't know. It's like Starship Troopers. Kill them all. So there was two there. Anyway, so I'm going to read a few, just a little bit of this. Federal law enforcement authorities scrutinized the background of Thomas Matthew Crooks on Sunday in search of what drove the 20-year-old gunman to open fire on former U.S. President Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Western Pennsylvania. Crooks, identified by the FBI as the suspect gunman in the assassination, was shot and killed by Secret Service something like more than just seconds, but fired shots towards the stage where Trump was speaking Saturday, but in Butler, Pennsylvania. One rally attendee, a 50-year-old man identified as Corey Comparatore, died. They said that he died sheltering his family. Trump was shot in the right ear. A resident of Bethel Park, about an hour away from the shooting occurred. Crooks was a registered Republican who would have been eligible to cast his first presidential vote November 5th in the November 5th election, in which Trump is challenging President Joe Biden. Public records show his father is a registered Republican and mother a registered Democrat. Ooh, there's no conflict there. Federal Election Commission filings show Crooks appears to have made a small $15 donation several years ago to the political action committee called Act Blue. Remember that, because that's going to be the second part of today's show, children. For a left-leaning and Democratic politicians, Act Blue. Write that down. Put that in your notes. Thank you. The donation was earmarked for the Progressive Turnout Project, a national group that rallies Democrats to vote. Okay, the groups did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. Okay, so let's keep going. So for a guy who's a registered Republican, he certainly seems to be involved with at least two political action committees, Act Blue. Where have I heard that before? And Progressive Turnout Project. I wonder if he made any donations to another project called the Progressive Victory Political Action Committee. We'll have to, only the future will see, right? Democrats vote. The groups did not immediately request. Okay, so Crooks' parents could not immediately be reached for comment by Reuters. His father, Matthew Crooks, 53, geez, younger than me, told CNN that he was trying to figure out what happened and would wait until he talked to law enforcement before speaking about his son. Your son is dead, and that's your response? Secret Service agents fatally shot the suspect, the agency said, after he opened fire from the roof of a building about 150 yards, 140 meters, for those of you who are on the metric system, from the stage where Trump was addressing supporters. An AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle used in the shooting was recovered near his body, according to sources. The firearm was legally purchased. Wow. So much for the gun control thing. Legally purchased from the suspect's father. By the suspect's father, ABC. The Wall Street Journal reported, citing sources. Bomb-making materials were found in the suspect's car. U.S. media outlets reported, citing sources. Super smart. In the family's hometown of one of Thomas Crooks' former classmates, a Bethel Park High School said the suspect did not show any particular interest in politics. I wonder what that's all about. Here, let me put you back in. All right. So what else do we have here? Okay. An interest in politics. Rather, his interests centered on building computers and playing games, like any 20-year-old would, right? The 20-year-old classmate who asked not to be identified, oh, really? said in an interview. Crooks often kept to himself, the classmate said. The politics never came up. The conversations revolved around school, the classmate said. He was super smart. That was what really kind of threw me off. This was like a really, really smart kid. He excelled, the classmate said. Nothing crazy ever came up in any conversation. The classmate added that he had not seen or heard from Crooks since the suspect graduated in 2022. While in school, Crooks received a $500 STAR Award from the National Math and Science Initiative. The plot thickens. According to Pittsburgh Tribune Review newspaper, Bethel Park School District is cooperating with the law enforcement investigation. Local media reported he's been out of high school for 2 years. As law enforcement dug into his background, the streets around Crooks' home were blocked off by a heavy police presence on Sunday. I've seen some video of that where, like, I think it was Steven Crowder's people went to go see where this guy's home was, and there were already police that were already there saying, go fuck yourself. As law enforcement dug in his background, the streets, residents who live nearby described feeling shocked and unsettled at that an assassination attempt has been linked to a person from the sedate city of 33,000 people. Bethel Park is a pretty blue-collar type of area, and to think that somebody was that close is a little insane, said Wes Morgan, 42-year-old. Okay, now they're just basically by the way, all of this happens anytime there's any shooting, whether or not it's an assassination attempt on a president or anyone else. Well, we have this sleepy little fishing village that nothing ever crazy like this happens here. A couple standing on the porch of their nearby brick ranch home was left processing the events and spotlight on the neighborhood. There's never been a gun issue. There's never been the police being called. Mary Pricelak, 67, along with her husband, said, "You kind of have to wonder what he didn't get in life." Let's read that again, children. You kind of have to wonder what he didn't get in life. What led to this extreme? Whatever could it be? Bruce Piendel, sounds like something from Lord of the Rings, owner of Allegheny Arms and Gunworks in Bethel Park, said that after learning about the shooting, he checked his records. We did not sell any firearms to the shooter. No, we sold them to his dad. We did not sell any firearms that was used in the shooting to the family. Okay, well, we've all covered our asses. That's good. Please come on down to the Allegheny firearms store. Reuters. What is it? Oh, you have to understand that in Western Pennsylvania, we have a rich tradition of hunting and fishing and outdoor stuff, Piendel said when asked about the number of gun shops in the region. You know, the thing is, it's like, why do they do this? Like, why do they go to the gun shops and be, okay, how many guns do you like? Oh, the neighborhood is just teeming. It's just like bristling with firearms here. Who's going to say that? I mean, unless it's, what's funny is, like, whenever there's something like this happens in like a regular like neighborhood, like some sort of like suburban thing, everybody just wants to sort of like diffuse the whole gun issue. But you'll notice that nobody ever goes down to like, oh, I don't know, Chicago or Detroit or Los Angeles or anything. And they wonder like, well, you know what? Before we cover this drive-by shooting that happens pretty much every half hour here, let's go check and see how many gun stores there are in Los Angeles, down maybe in South Central. Or let's go check it out. While Reuters could not immediately identify the social media accounts or other online posting by Crooks, Discord said on Sunday he had an account on the instant messaging platform. Okay, now everyone is filing over to Discord. You're leaving my show and going to look at Discord right now. We have identified an account that appears to be linked to the suspect. It was rarely utilized, and we have found no evidence that it was used to plan this incident or discuss his political views, Discord said in a statement. Okay, now Discord's covered their ass. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, did not immediately respond to questions on whether the platforms had removed any accounts related to the suspect. Yes, and will never reveal whether they have or not. All right, so that was it. So everybody's covered their bases. All right, we've all covered our asses. Meta covered, Discord covered, gun shops covered. Let's see who else. High school covered, neighborhood covered. All right, so now we know that the guy is sort of this lone wolf, or probably this. I don't know, fits a profile of an incel, because we've been building up that archetype really probably for the last 18 months. I said maybe more than that. I mean, we're building up for a long time, but like it's become sort of like an invective in the last 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, an incel. There's definitely an image that comes to mind when you go into those things. What do you got here? Let's see. Well, thank you very much for that. Andrew Wilson, I appreciate you. Love you, brother. Thank you very much for your contributions. Where did I put that one? Sorry, I just lost a super chat here. Trying to get to you so I can put you on the screen here. Sammy, will you pull that one for me? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I just passed it. Not that one. I got Andrew on there, and then sorry. Oh, okay, I got it. Never mind. I got it here. Who knows if it has any relevance? But the shooter did appear in the Black Rock video. Okay, so I got to you too. Thank you all very much for your contributions. So now, what am I going to tell you about the incel thing? Well, the reason why why this is a red pill crossover moment here is because since November of last year, of 2023, I have myself, Aaron Clary, of all people, Myron and Fresh, of course, Pearl, and let's see who else. Rich Cooper is on this list. Actually, maybe I'll just call this up real fast. This is my Acrobat here. Now, this I'm about to show you is, I don't know if anybody has put this on yet. I do know Abba and Preach decided that they wanted to be experts on this, and they're absolutely fucking idiots about this. But everybody wants to think that old man Tomasi and his conspiracy theories. Well, here we go. Yes, you're right. Incel is a political boogeyman. Yeah, well, it is. And that's essentially why they're waiting for stuff like that. I will guarantee you they will turn this. That's why I'm asking this question now. I'm getting out ahead of it because I guarantee you they will turn this guy into an incel. Guaranteed. And here's why. As I said before, as of November of 2023, myself, Rich Cooper, Myron and Fresh, Aaron Clary, Sandman of all people, are all on a DHS watch list, or we're on an NGO watch list, and that NGO is called Diverting Hate. Now, this is one NGO. I don't know how many others there are, but this was the most egregious one. You probably heard me talking about this as far back as March, because that's when their biannual report came out, which they immediately dropped offline. But I got it. I have it right here, and I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. Actually, let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, there it is. There's the window. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share this with you. Can we see that? Yes, we can. Does that look good? That looks great. Okay, so this is the PDF of the Diverting Hate biannual report. As far as I know, no one has put this up yet, but I was just watching. In fact, I got to go dig the video for you guys. I was just watching Congressman Eli Crane talking about this. And in fact, I think I might go dig that up here. If you guys will bear with me for one moment. I don't know if I already have it. Oh, maybe I do already have it. Hang on. I think I have this on tap for you before I jump in. It should be in this video file right here. Is it that one? No, it's not. Hang on. I'll have to go fetch it from Twitter here real quick. It's okay. I have it in my bookmarks. I think I can probably find it pretty easy. Where did it go? No, it's not it. Anyways, Eli Crane is the guy who is a congressman. He was talking about exactly this stuff. In fact, I think maybe I can just find it here on YouTube real fast. Perfect. Here we go. You know what? I'm just going to show. I'm not even going to download this. I'm just going to show this to you guys in a second. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is from let's see. This is from Forbes News. This is breaking news. And before I dig into the report here, let's do this. Stop sharing that. Sorry guys. I didn't sequence this the correct way. Share that. Here we go. Okay, so this was just recently on, I want to say C-SPAN or Forbes. I'm not really 100%, but okay, that'll work. Okay, let's do this. So this is Eli Crane, congressman from Arizona, by the way.
Lady yields back, and I recognize Representative Crane from the great state of Arizona for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the hearing today. I want to start with you, Ms. Franks. I believe you said the government has the right to participate in expressing its viewpoint. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't, respectfully, Ms. Franks, I don't think that's what we're really talking about here today. We're not talking about the government expressing its viewpoints. What we're really talking about is when the government pays and uses taxpayer dollars to fund these entities that we're talking about here today that actually discredit some of these news sites and drives away their advertisers. Do you think that's fair as well?
What is fair is for the government to be able to fund projects and organizations that do certain things with those funds that may include competing in the marketplace of ideas, and they may be winning in the marketplace of ideas, but the government is not making those choices. And when certain news outlets lose in the marketplace of ideas, they may want to blame the government for that, but maybe they're just losers.
So, okay, Ms. Franks, do you think
It's actually Dr. Franks.
What's that?
It's actually Dr. Franks.
Okay.
Okay. This is what you get when you elect women. You trade freedom, you trade liberties for perceived securities. This is exactly how women organize society.
Dr. Franks, sorry. Ms. Jonas here said that when she was looking at these entities and the organizations that they had blacklisted, every single one of them was a conservative leaning organization. Do you think that's fair as well? Is that okay? Dr. Franks?
Use a different name, so I wasn't sure you were talking to me.
Yeah, I'm still talking to you. I'm still looking at you. I'm still talking to you.
Would you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, you seem to have a problem paying attention to the questions being asked of you today. I'll repeat it for you again. Do you think that it's okay that these entities that are blacklisting companies, all of the companies on the list that are blacklisted are conservative outlets?
Do I think that it is okay for a company, for a nonprofit organization to develop tools that offer rankings? In other words, offer speech of criticism, critical speech about certain businesses? Yes, I think that's okay because that is protected First Amendment activity.
So you think it's okay for the federal government to be using our tax dollars to basically, through a proxy, blacklist one side of the aisle? You think that's okay?
I do not, because that is not what is happening.
Really? How so?
Yes.
Then why are all the companies on the list, the blacklist, conservative groups?
I think that's something that conservatives would need to answer.
No, I think that's something you need to answer.
I'm not
Because
a
we're talking
representative
about
of any of these
censorship
companies.
here, and there's only
Yes.
one group of people being censored.
No one is being censored.
Miss
according
Eunice
to what
here,
is being
Miss
described
Eunice
today.
here.
Okay, that's a lie. That is the first, that right there, which says nobody's being censored. That is a lie. That is a bald-faced lie, which I'm going to prove to you here as soon as this video is over.
Admitted that she's not even a Republican. She leans left, yet she's telling us that all of the companies on the blacklist are conservative groups. How do you square that, doctor?
I don't have to square that because, as I said, the focus
I know, because
here-
you don't have to make any sense, do you?
May I answer the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
The First Amendment has certain principles and certain rules. People may not like them. People may disagree with them. People may not like the fact that someone out there may say conservatives are all bad or liberals are all bad. The correct response to not liking that is to engage in your own speech, as is often happening here. It is not to say, oh, this is censorship, we're being silenced. It's simply to say, we disagree with what's being said here. Try to compete.
Bullshit. 100% bullshit.
And if you are good enough, maybe you'll win.
Miss Jonas, what do you have to say about what Dr. Franks just said?
First of all, I want to be
Microphone.
I want to be clear that this wasn't just about NewsGuard and GDI. The government was funding hundreds, at least 300 tools and technologies that were designed to censor speech. Some of them weren't even pretending to censor.
Okay, put that one on your notes, children. Developing software to enforce censorship, because that's exactly what the NGO Diverting Hate has done to prove that incels are dangerous, to put myself and Richard Cooper and Aaron Clary and all the rest of us on a DHS watch list. That's what she's getting at right here.
Foreign disinformation, quote unquote disinformation. Of course, that's a subjective term. So they were hosting COVID disinformation challenges where they were giving grants to companies who showed that they were the best at censoring COVID disinformation. COVID is not really a national security or foreign topic, even if it, it has some tinges of that. So this was about the government using its authority. The government can't use its authority, can't use its power, and can't use its money in order to censor views it doesn't like. It's the government, yes, it has a right to censor, to express its own views, but not to use those views to censor. That's where it stops. And the court expressly said that in Vulo recently, actually.
Mr. Weingarten, I'm going to allow you to comment on this exchange.
I just say briefly, we've heard a robust defense of the government's purported right to speak, which, as we've established, really looks like a right to censor. And the censors portrayed as the victims here, but American speech en masse has been censored by this censorship industrial complex on a slew of issues that expressly reflect protected political speech. And if a stop isn't put to it, we're going to lose this right in toto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
All right, there we go. Oops, sorry. God, they always amplify those goddamn commercials so much. Okay, so yeah, the United States turning into Canada. Thanks a lot. What do you got here? I wonder when it's going to be conservative. Have an opinion again, and then not be cancel cultured. Yes, DEI makes it so you can't even have an opinion anymore without being canned. That is true, but it gets worse than that. Let's go back to let me give you the set. I'm going to give you the layup here. Now, this is why I started this topic today. I've been waiting to do this for a while. I'm going to actually do a full dedicated show on what the DHS and the NGO, the Diverting Hate, and some of these other NGOs have been doing for a while now. I tried to give you guys a sort of a primer for that back in March, but I've been sort of waiting. I do have legal counsel on this. I haven't Rollo's suing people again. I'm not suing anybody again. I'm just asking, I'm trying to figure out if there's something that I can do where I can maybe get a class action with all the rest of the people who are on this list that I'm about to show you. However, that was Eli Crane. He is a Republican congressman from Arizona, and apparently he's at least aware of this stuff. Now, this is not just about the red pill, it's about other political organizations. Thank you very much for that. I would say this is the root cause of the absent father being raised by the single mother. Fathers keep sons away from stupid ideas, and daughters away from OnlyFans. Yeah, I wish that were true. At least the stupid ideas part, anyways. However, I'm going to just give you the rough idea here real quick. I have been I am on a list that has rankings of some sorts of how misogynist I am, or how misogynist Rich Cooper is, or how misogynist Aaron Clary is, right? Most of this report reads as if it was created by copy AI. It reads as if it's like the descriptions of myself, like there's profiles of me in here, there's profiles of Aaron, there's profiles of all the rest of these people. And we're going to go through this a little bit today. Now, the reason why I'm digging into this now is because this was the setup. This is what is going to build the narrative for the kid, the 20-year-old kid who decided that he was going to take a shot at Trump yesterday. Okay, that's why so bear with me. There is a connection here. Now, that seemed overly political, but the thing is that the NGO that Congressman Eli Crane was talking about is exactly the NGO, or exactly the type of NGO that has been going after the red pill since November of last year. And I can show you how my subscribership has flatlined. I can show you how my engagement and how my revenue has flatlined as a result of this. In fact, they note it. So before everybody goes, oh, well, Rollo, maybe you just need to produce some more interesting videos. Maybe you need to not go for 4 hours or 9. By the way, the idea that I'm doing like 2 to 3 hour podcasts or whatever, and so therefore it's kind of like, it's something that's slowly digestible. If you're going to come at me for that, make sure that you point your targeting over at Brian from whatever podcast, because that dude is averaging between 8 and 9 hour podcasts right now. So it's not about the duration of the podcast. All right. So I'm going to show you why that's bullshit here in just a second, because we are on a rating system, and I'll explain to you exactly how the rating system came to be. Let's see. Did I get everybody? I did. Okay. I'm going to try to stay on top of super chats. If you want to throw something out there in a super chat, like do me a favor and try to keep it on topic. If it's not, I'm probably going to save it till the end of the show. Okay. So yeah, exactly. Well, guess what? Angry BW podcast. Here's the deal. Things might be a little more accelerated now. After yesterday, I 100% agree with you. In fact, I've been saying this since the beginning of this year, because this is the year that everybody abandons the red pill. They already have. Myron and Fresh have abandoned the red pill, or more or less abandoned the red pill. Okay. That's on them. If that's a business decision, it's all business. Okay, well, fine. Willing to listen to that. Okay. But when you're hosting people like Destiny, and you're hosting people like Nick, and you're hosting people who are obvious and proven political operatives right now, you are now complicit in what happened yesterday. You had something to do with that. And I'll tell you why. Would you like here before I get rolling, because I am going to get rolling here. This is Destiny. This is the one. He was having a flippin' meltdown yesterday because he didn't know what to say. If he said one thing, he seems like a hypocrite. He says another thing like this, he seems like he wanted yesterday to happen. If we learn anything today, I hope it's realizing the importance of principles I've stressed many times on the stream before. Having a firearm means absolutely nothing if you don't spend time at the range practicing with it. That's Destiny. And that came out probably, an hour and a half, 2 after what happened yesterday. I'm not even going to say the word anymore. You guys already know what I'm talking about. That's it. And by the way, that was one of the more, that's one tweet that I can actually reproduce on this show without like worrying about getting ratioed, right? Seriously, if you follow Destiny, now's the time to watch him, because this is his downfall. This is the end of Destiny right here. And I told Mike this, and Mike was like, "Oh man, he's going to be on CNN tomorrow." I'm like, yeah, for what? For having the meltdown that he's having right now? You got to remember that Destiny, Jasmine Jafar, Farah, Pixie, Not So Erudite, let's see, Philion. I can't remember the rest of these guys. These are people who were political operatives. Their influence was bought by a political action committee that goes by the name Progressive Victory. They are the ones who are out. In fact, I would not be surprised if this Thomas Matthew Cook is not also part of Progressive Victory. I would not be surprised, or has made donations or has some sort of connection. That's why these guys are twisting in the wind right now, trying to figure out what their narrative is going to be. Because now you took a shot at a formerly standing president, and this is the result of that. This is the product of you guys and your rhetoric being bought and paid for by political action committees since 2022, since July of 2022. That's at least by my record. Sam Drismala, who is the administrator, the guy that maybe he's the owner or the creator of Progressive Victory, admittedly started buying left-leaning, progressive-leaning influencers as far back as July of 2022. I'll show you I'll point you guys in the right direction as far as the documentary is concerned. That is now, all of the shit has been coming out in the last month or so. And no one is banging a gong about this except for me. And Destiny is one of the higher ups. He's one of he's like the feather in the cap of fucking Progressive Victory. So if you are a Trump supporter and you had this kid, this high-functioning autistic kid on your show, you are complicit in what happened yesterday to some degree, because you gave the motherfucker a platform without looking into his background, because all you saw was just clout in the eyes, man. Clout. Oh, we're going to get so much more viewers if we have this guy on there. No, you're not, because now look where we're at. And no one's going to care about this in another month. No one's going to care about this by the end of August. But I'm bringing this up now. When you give these guys that kind of leeway, when you give them that, you give them a huge audience like that without looking into their background and without looking at what they were and what they're doing, You say, well, we want to have a lively conversation. We want to have free debate and open debate. They don't want to have open debate. They want to get out there and they want to influence. That's what they wanted to do. And quite honestly, they would rather you not exist. I'm not going to say the word, but that's the solution. The solution for them is for you to be erased, whether that's canceling or whatever else. And you know what I'm talking about. Whether you're being canceled, whatever it is, cancel culture this, cancel culture that, blah, 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 blah. They would rather see you in jail. They would rather see you erased. They would rather see you gone. And they were more than happy to do that. And they know what their influence is, and they get paid by that reach. Each one of these kids, each one of these Twitch, who, if you are follow somebody like who, I can't say Hunter Avalon. I'm not really sure if he's on that list, but Philion's definitely on that list. Vaush was on that list. Destiny's on that list. Jasmine Jafar was definitely paid by Progressive Victory. Pixie still paid by Progressive Victory. Although maybe the money's drying up right now, but I'll tell you right now, all these kids are going to keep a very low profile, at least for probably to the end of this month. Trust me on that. And you know what? If they even have a job anymore after what happened, because everybody's saying that, Trump's a shoo-in in November, they might as well just have the election right now because he's going to win, especially after this. I'm not saying that's the case. I don't know. But what I do know is that they were paid operatives. That's what they were. And they would say they're counselors or they're consultants or something like that, so they don't violate the terms of service on Twitch. In fact, Twitch didn't, but by the way, I'm not broadcasting on Twitch right now because right before I went on, Twitch said they didn't like the title of this video and I needed to tweak it a little bit. I'm like, fuck that. I don't care. I don't have anybody watch me on Twitch anyways. So I just canceled that stream, which is, I think I might have had 3 viewers on it. But that's where we're at right now. This is welcome to 2024. So if you gave these kids any kind of credence, any kind of clout, any kind of legitimacy, if you legitimized any of these people, you are part of the problem. Maybe unwittingly so, I'll give you that. Maybe you just simply didn't know, but that's how this is going to work. And trust me, in 2028, when we go through all this bullshit one more time and go through another political cycle, this is what's going to happen. And I'm not saying that maybe even conservatives aren't doing the same thing, buying influencers and everything, but now we know. And now, whenever you have somebody on there, especially if you're like pro-Trump and you're, pro-traditional conservative values and everything like that, and you're going to go and put somebody like Destiny on your show, just know that you're giving them a bullhorn on your show. And that bullhorn is used to do what happened yesterday. This is what they wanted to happen. This is the flashpoint incident I've been talking about for a very, very long time. They're looking for something that's going to galvanize. And guess what? It backfired. It literally backfired on them. So bear in mind that the influencers that you think are like, I'll tell you right now, nobody pays me. I don't do this trust me, I ain't doing this for the money. I mean, it's nice to have outreaches. Please buy my books. That's about it. I don't have a program. I don't have a dating site. I'm not trying to use a 12-point, compatibility score so you guys can meet your soulmate. I've never done anything like that. I'm just an author, and I will continue to be an author into perpetuity till I am carried out in a pine wood box, right? But I'll tell you right now, I'm not taking money from anybody. They wouldn't pay me anyway. So conservatives hate me and progressives hate me. So I guess I'm screwed. But you have me on your show, you're going to get the real fucking deal. You have these guys on your show, you're going to get propaganda, agitating propaganda. That's what you're going to end up getting. And whether they lose or win the quote unquote debate, it doesn't matter. They're still getting paid by the show from Progressive Victory. They're drawing a check. Like, you ever wonder, like, where do these people make their money? I mean, I know like Jasmine Jafar makes money off of, titty fucks on fucking OnlyFans. She's not really a fucking lawyer. I think it was James Sexton says like she's never seen the inside of a courthouse. She makes more money off of OnlyFans than anything, but she's also still taking money from Progressive Victory because she's at all of those events. There's no getting around it. The pictures are there. The video is there. Not so erudite, same thing. Same fucking thing. That autistic child, that high functioning autistic child is part of Progressive Victory. Pixie, progressive victory. All those shit. By the way, and I love you, Andrew, but Andrew Wilson was on one of her podcasts sitting across the table from Jasmine Jafar Farah, who has admitted to actually was conflicted about this. At least she has some integrity. I will give Jasmine, Farah. I'll give Farah a break on this because she had some integrity to like sort of pull back on this. And then Pixie. So you had Jasmine, Farah, and Pixie sitting across the table, trying to have some sort of genuine debate with Andrew Wilson. And Andrew, I love you, but they're milking you. You know who gets paid after that? Not you. They do, by progressive victory. They just want you on a big name. They just want to get on a big name podcast with a big name content creator. And even if they lose, they win because they get paid to go and do this. That's why. All their influence, all that bullshit, anything they can agitate, it doesn't matter it doesn't even matter what the fucking topic is. They win, you lose. And how do we lose? By what happened yesterday. That's why. Bear that in mind as we move on. What do we got here? Okay, let me get to you guys. I'll catch up. Evidently, Thomas Matthew Crooks was featured in a BlackRock TV commercial. Yes, we know. Thank you. What name would you pick for your grandchild? My grandchild? Gunnar. Gunnar. Some nice, good Nordic name. Katy Perry's new video, Women's World is exactly what these NGOs want. Yes, a police state. Everyone to believe. We follow their rules and under their new world order. This incel is a byproduct of it. Thank you, Earl. And Carlos Swallow, great interview with Uncle Robert. Yeah, Robert. Not Robert Frank, who I would very much love to get in the show, but Robert Kiyosaki was on yesterday. Thank you for that. It was a good show, actually. I thought even just like the production value was pretty good. And big ups to Kyle, my producer, Kyle, because he was just, he's a trooper. Talking about money, this is for Ned's college fund. Wait a minute. Thank you. And Ned is doing fine. In fact, he's doing better than fine. Ned gets to go swimming more than I do. In fact, tomorrow he gets to go do hydrotherapy one more time too. I love taking pictures of him in the tank there. He loves that, man. He knows on Monday. I don't know how he knows, but he knows like 2:00 on Monday. That's when he goes to, that's when you got to drop him off at the pool. Yeah. Okay. So back to it. Here we go. We've already gone through who Thomas Matthew Crooks is. They're trying to build a case, I think, right now to explain away how this guy is an incel. And even if they don't call him an incel, there's enough of a perception that he could be an incel that's going to be like the concept that people have in their mind. So where is that? Go to the window. Now let's get back to diverting hate. Here we go. So the NGOs that Mr. Crane, Eli Crane, Congressman Eli Crane was talking about, Diverting Hate is one of those NGOs. Okay, Diverting Hate, misogynistic extremism, the manosphere, and the mainstream social media, a biannual report, which means there's going to be another one probably in October or November. March 2024, volume 3, meaning there were 2 more volumes prior to this, which actually I also have those, but this is the most recent one, so we'll go with this. Okay, let me put myself in. There you go, so you can see my smiling mug. Okay, so let's move over. We exist to create a world where all people can be safe from misogyny. Now, pointing something out here, Middlebury and the McCain Institute. Diverting Hate is in partnership with Middlebury and the McCain Institute. The McCain Institute is the one to pay attention to here, simply because the McCain Institute is out of Arizona State University, where Congressman Eli Crane is a representative of. So if you're going to track the money here, and I'm just going to give you the brief rundown, the money comes from the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS, because they want to find some way to bypass being held responsible for civil rights violations. So what do? They funnel that money, your taxpayer dollars, and in this case, a bit over $750,000, it's like just this side of $800,000 was funneled through the McCain Institute to the NGO Diverting Hate. So that's, if you're going to track the money, goes from your taxpayer dollars through the DHS, through the McCain Institute, and then to the NGO Diverting Hate, which, by the way, is their headquarters on ASU, Arizona State University. So all of this easily findable on Google. So table of contents, we'll go through this male supremacy scale. That's what it was. The male supremacy scale. Apparently I've got a really high rating on the male supremacy scale. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to read this, a portion of this. I won't go through the whole damn thing. But, of course, they're going to use, once again, there's Andrew Tate and, of course, Pearl, because they are the beginning and the end of the manosphere and the red pill, right? That's where it all started, right? Okay, our vision. We seek to advance a world where all people can be safe from misogyny. Our mission, to intercept and combat online hate by targeting its root causes. And, of course, we're the ones who define what hate is and what hate is not. Through applied research and applied technology, diverting hate. Applied research and applied technology. Does that sound like the description that was given to you by that other doctor that was on the video? Yeah. Diverting hate uses empathy to create a path for men and boys to overcome hate with resilience and positive community. Does any of that sound like a human being just wrote that? By engaging credible messengers and platforms that proliferate online social movements, we disrupt violent misogyny and create a real-world impact. Okay. Why we exist: for vulnerable men struggling with loneliness, low self-esteem, and a variety of other risk factors, which we are not going to enumerate. Finding an online space where their troubles are valid is a beacon of hope. How many guys go online and go, you know what? I need a beacon of hope. Somebody give me some hope. Often they are welcomed into a community of like-minded men uniting under a common enemy, usually women, and given a prescription for the successful realization of manhood. In reality, this seemingly promising community, known as the manosphere, prey on this demographic for their indoctrination of radical ideas, infusing hate and violence into their daily lives. Does that sound like anything I have done, anything Aaron Clary has ever done, anything Rich Cooper has ever done, anything that Sandman has ever done, anything even, well, maybe Pearl. Governments and businesses struggle with how to stop misogyny. No, they don't. The government is hindered by political constraints and inconsistent resourcing, while businesses profit off of these engagement models. Despite their efforts to combat online hate, the opposition remains insufficient, and technology platforms continue to be fertile grounds for such ideologies to take root and spread. Instead of merely addressing the symptoms of these issues, we believe it necessitates a high-tech-based solution to address this fundamental technological issue. Our technology and applied research solutions have paved a healthier path for young men before it's too late. So this is what they do. You can have a look here. Our approach: we aim to target harmful misogyny. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit on this. There we go. Harmful misogyny, of course. There's the face of harmful misogyny by surfacing positive male influences. Meaning what we do is we redirect the traffic of Rollo and Rich and Aaron and Myron and Pearl and Sandman and everyone else to go over to, these are the proof. By the way, all of these sites, right over here, all these, Fishing the Good Fight, Man Enough, which is Justin Baldini's site, which I've talked about for a while, Visible Man, Men Alive. Keep an eye on all of these. The Mankind Project, whatever this is. Everyman, Pensive, I have no idea what the fuck that is. These are state-approved masculinity sites that are getting my traffic, Aaron's traffic, Rich Cooper's traffic, Myron and Fresh, if they were being monetized anymore, they would be getting these people's traffic. I would encourage anybody watching this show to go ahead and have, I don't care if you leave right now, go ahead and have a look at, well, Man Enough is the most egregious, but of course I was joking around with the video I was showing you guys last week of these guys, sort of these fat dudes in this pool crying and raging and everything else, and they're just like crying it out in the woods somewhere. That's who I'm talking about. That's these projects right here. That's positive masculinity, looking like a fucking weeping, simpering, weesh pussy. Man buns, chin buns, you name it. That's where all this shit is leading, okay? Partnerships and digital advertising. Our methodology extends beyond mere hate prevention. We aim to cultivate understanding, empathy, and positive connections to drive a social behavior shift amongst this audience. In essence, We are directing your traffic so you never have the choice to see any of these things. And we want you to look at state-funded, state-approved masculinity sites. We partner with 10 men's wellness and community organizations to drive at-risk men away from the manosphere towards healthier alternatives. Those healthier alternatives, their websites. So essentially cutting off and choking other people who have a differing opinion than these simpering, wimpy, weesh-ass sites. They're going to take control and redirect your traffic so you never get to see them. That, my friends, is digital censorship, and that is a violation of the First Amendment. Through amplifying our partners' voices, we aspire to redirect the audience's attention towards more positive content that we've decided is positive, that nurtures life skills and promotes the overall well-being of men, like laying around in a pool, floating like a fat wall, like a manatee, and crying in a pool somewhere. Applied research. Our methods merge, whatever those are. Our method merges research with action and redirect harmful online behavior using social media. Central to our approach is the dynamic research framework that constantly monitors emerging trends, influential figures, and the evolving language within various communities. By staying well on the pulse of these developments, we can effectively identify and classify key terms, websites, users, accounts, and hashtags prevalent within the manosphere. So let me explain something to you here. Just in that last half of a paragraph right there, that completely, utterly destroys any bullshit notion that Abba and Preach wanted to say that this is a conspiracy theory. Kindly go fuck yourselves, guys. Here it is. This comprehensive understanding enables us to pinpoint and target at-risk individuals on social media platforms before they become irreversibly indoctrinated with harmful content. Our research capabilities serve as the cornerstone of our platform-agnostic bullshit solution, allowing us to efficiently identify instances of hate speech and take swift action to address them. So, applied ad technology. Our adoption of applied advertising technology allows us to measure our impact by monitoring key performance indicators such as reach, engagement, and conversion rates. Understanding these performance KPIs is essential as they provide insights into potential refinements to enhance our messaging, effectiveness, and reach. Our messaging. That, again, is a civil rights violation. Let's see, effectiveness and the reach in the future. Campaigns. Currently, online platforms face a binary choice when dealing with extremist content, either that we've decided is extremist, either shut down the offending account or ignore it. Our work offers a third option, to encourage lasting changes through platform infrastructure by instead exposing at-risk users to alternative positive content. Who is deciding what is positive and what is not? They are. Looking ahead, we will focus on evaluating full conversion to our partners' programs and analysis of changes in online behavior to best understand the true impact of the transformation of our work. Here we go. Reach. Target audience sees digital ad. Engagement, target audience, target interacts with ad, like commercials, views, etc. Conversion, target takes meaningful action, follows, visiting website. Target commits and endorses membership and promotion. So what they're looking for is they're looking for drones. How is this any different? How is this any different from what they're accusing us of? It's essentially creating an army of drones. They just want their ideology and their memes to be the ones that are inserted, not anything else. So you got transformation. Executive reports. Let's keep going through here. This was they explained to you how they came into actors of where does it go here? Maybe I should just read those too. Okay, this was the thing that got me here. Is like section 1, growth of online male supremacy. The comprehensive analysis delves into the concerning influence of the manosphere across different online platforms. The examination of YouTube reveals a lucrative trend where influencers profit from misogynistic content, employing a strategic formula that includes leveraging TikTok content to disseminate anti-feminist ideologies. So there we have it. Anything that is anti-feminist is therefore misogynistic. The male supremacy scale study on YouTube influencers demonstrates the scale's effectiveness in assessing and targeting diversion strategies. So they had to have a metric, they had to have a benchmark by which they could measure all of this stuff, right? The male supremacy scale, which is was created by a organization called Pearl, P-E-R-L. Okay. This exploration extends to off mainstream platforms like incels.is. There's our first instance of incels, and Getter, uncovering heightened loneliness during holidays in incel forums and the prevalence of far-right ideologies. There's the political aspect of this. So it's no longer about male supremacy. It's no longer about diverting hate speech. It is now promoting what they believe is anything that goes against feminist ideologies. Feminist ideologies are the approved correct way to think. Therefore, we need to redirect people's traffic so they will get feminine. They won't think that feminism is such a bad deal. Got it? Okay. Overall, the research underscores the urgent need to address the propagation of misogynistic narratives and extremist viewpoints within the manosphere. Okay, what would those be? Emphasizing the importance of targeted interventions and understanding the dynamics across various online platforms, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. This is what I wanted to get to. Peril. Sorry, it wasn't Pearl. All right. So this is it. Together with the polarization and extremism research in and innovation lab, that would be Pearl. Polarization, extremism, research and innovation laboratory at American University. We conducted a case study to investigate the viability of executing effective diversion camp. This is all just fucking baffle garble here. Campaigns aimed at a range of male supremacist YouTube influencers who are prominent within the manosphere. The male supremacy scale was developed by Pasha Dashgard. Go look that individual up. The director of research at Peril, as a tool to understand, define, and quantify the phenomenon of contemporary male supremacy, specifically in the context of online platforms. Employing a mixed methods research design, which we'll never tell you what that's all about, what that methodology is, Dashgard collected and synthesized data from various sources, including online ethnographic research. I wonder if that part of that research could have been the INCEL research by, I don't know, an individual by the name of Will Costello. A key informant interview and a scale designed to measure contemporary male supremacy. The result was a reliable and valid instrument for assessing contemporary male supremacy known as the Male Supremacy Scale. The Male Supremacy Scale is a only 15 item scale to measure male supremacy broken into 3 subscales: anti-feminism, female dishonesty in relationships, and women like alphas. I thought alpha males didn't exist. I thought we were all mistaken about what is an alpha. What is a high value man, Sneeko? What is a high value man, Destiny? Women like alphas. With 5 items each, anti-feminism explores explores how the participant feels about feminism and feminists in general. So let's see, if you don't like them, or if you have anything critical in the most empirical sense to say about feminism, you're going to get a higher mark on the masculine supremacy scale. In general, and more specifically, the role feminism has in society. Female dishonesty in relationships highlights how the view that women are not able to be faithful in a relationship and are by nature dishonest. Women like alphas is based on hypergamy. Well, that's interesting. Whose definition of hypergamy are we using? Because if you're using the classical definition that everyone wants to criticize Rollo Tomasi about, it's about marrying up. Or is it? Maybe it's about fucking up. Maybe it's about marrying up. I don't know. They're not specific about this. And the values that men of the manosphere project onto women and determine if the participant feels that women are only interested in high status masculine men. They are only interested in high status masculine men. Utilizing a 7-point Likert scale, whatever that is, ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree, The highest ranking on the male supremacy scale is 105. Okay. By the way, no one has ever polled me to say strongly agree, strongly disagree, but somehow I made it onto the list. And so did Aaron Clary, for that matter. Application of the male supremacy scale. The manifestation of the male supremacy online combines principles derived from a broad network of male supremacist websites, blogs, forums, and communities commonly referred to as the manosphere. Currently, online platforms face a binary choice when dealing with the content. Content offers potential pathways to online radicalization. There's the first instance of that word. Put that in your notes, children. We're coming back to it. Either shut down the offending account or ignore it. They haven't shut me down, but they did shut down Access Vegas. This site is still monetized, thank the Lord. And my clip site is still monetized. And by the way, every single one of your super chats is greatly appreciated on the show. I'll still do this show no matter whether I'm monetized or I'm not. To me, it's outreach. They have already demonetized Mike Sartain's show. He got demonetized back in, I think, the end of April, beginning of May. And Mike's show, the Mike Sartain podcast, is at 170,000 subs, as far as I was able to tell. Mike is not on this list because, and this is one of the reasons why I think he hasn't been demonetized, or he was demonetized, is because he wasn't on this list, because I am still technically a guinea pig to these people. Currently, online platforms face a binary. Okay, I got that. In order to test this methodology, we worked alongside DashGuard and Peril team to implement the male supremacy scale and test efficacy of diversion campaigns against an amalgam of actors within the manosphere across male supremacy spectrum. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving here. The scale has 15 items, as you can see, broken into 3 subcategories. I'll read those to you just real quick. Anti-feminism. Feminism is about hating men. Modern society prioritizes women over men. Gynocentrism, yes. Feminists are unattractive. Not all of them. Women use feminism to gain an unfair advantage over men. Yes. And by the way, most of these things have been proven over and over and over again, because the manosphere didn't just crop up with Andrew Tate and Pearl. It has been going on for 20 plus years. Feminists are seeking to control men. I don't think that they're seeking anymore. I think they already do. Female dishonesty in relationships. If a man commits to a woman in a romantic relationship, she gets the upper hand. In relationships, women are less trustworthy than men. Men in romantic relationships need to be constantly on guard for cheating. Women have a biological drive to cheat on their partners. You know what's funny is you can't even ask these questions. Like, I have this conversation. If you go and you look at this part right here, where to go? Like that. You look at this right here. Women have biological drive to cheat on their partners. The jury's still out on this. Is it? Because, like, when we talk about this, so you can't even have this conversation without getting a 5 rating on the Peril score. If this is the case, then you're going to have to go and put you're going to have to put Chris Williamson on this list. He would score very high on most of this stuff, but they're not putting him on there. Okay. You can't trust women to be faithful in relationships. Okay. Well, can we have that discussion without being a male supremacist? You see, that's the problem. That's why this is a civil rights violation. That's why this is a violation of our First Amendment rights. You can't even, it quashes open discussion. It quashes the crucible of open debate. If I am worried about being canceled and losing my bread and having the food taken out of my mouth by just asking the question, can you trust women to be faithful in relationships? If I have that conversation, then I am at risk of being put on a male supremacy scale. Women like alphas. Women are biologically driven to seek the highest status man possible. How is this even on the fucking list? How is this in any way an aspect or an attribute of male supremacism? And again, you can't even, you know what I should do? I should go to each one of these. Thank you for this. I'm going to go to each one of these things. I'm going to do a show about every one of these fucking things. I'm going to have a conversation about every one of these things. Does that make us misogynists by having that conversation? Well, apparently, according to the DHS, according to the McCain Institute, according to the doctor who was being interviewed or being, interrogated by Eli Crane, apparently to Diverting Hate, you can't even have the conversation about any of this without being put at risk of being called a male supremacist and being blocked and having your traffic diverted and having your channel demonetized at 170,000 views like they did with Mike. Now, Mike still broadcasts Access Vegas. Access Vegas on my channel. I have 3 channels. I have this channel, the Rational Male. I have my Clips channel, and I had Access Vegas as a channel that was on my lists. Right, those were my 3 channels for under my account. Only Access Vegas got demonetized, and they still haven't given me a reason why or why not. Now, it didn't kill me that much. I only have ever, like, you got to remember that channel, Access Vegas, as a standalone independent channel, was only a little bit over a year old when they demonetized it. I have made probably $300 at best in 1 month on Access Vegas. I had it just as it was nice to have this sort of like a gravy account, hey, get $300, but it wasn't even paying for studio fees at Sticky Paws. I was putting money out to do that. I lose money on Access Vegas because it's a labor of love and I want to see it take off, and I'm trying to like grow it, right? It's like my little tree that I'm trying to make grow. But not anymore, because apparently that's not possible. So it had 7,500 subs. I made at the most amount of money I ever made in 1 month off that was about $300, and that's probably because we have Myron and Fresh on it, right? And it's only been around for like less than about a year, about a year and a couple months, right? That's the site they decided to demonetize. Why? Not take off, not eliminate. It's because I'm part of this experiment. So they're not going to demonetize my show. They're not going to demonetize this show. They're not going to demonetize my Clips channel because I'm still part of this, and they want to they want to do this for a year and then find out if this is effective, because essentially what they've done is they've partnered with YouTube to basically blacklist and to shadow ban my account, but also to in order to complete this experiment, to divert my traffic away. And by the way, I'll explain. It gets into how they go about doing this. Now, here we go. This is actually what I wanted to show you. This is the metric right here. Sandman apparently beats us all. Now, this is the male supremacy scaled metric. Okay, this is the peril scale. That's this shit right here. Okay, that's all this stuff right here. That's what contributes to your rating on their scale here. Okay. So once again, let me offer a big hearty fuck you to Abba and Preach, because this is where the rubber hits the road. Sandman 93. And remember, the max score is 105. Sandman has 203,000 subs. At least that's when they started this in November of 2023. Now, because this is their biannual report, they're catching up to where he is on March 2024. Okay, so this is seen as a success. Sandman's failure, or Sandman's first of all, subscriber count is a vanity metric, but they don't know this. But anyways, if their metric is subscribership, and they want to get more DHS funding for this next year, this is what they have. They have to prove that they've done some kind of work here. Now, if you look at MTR, the real MTR, mediocre tutorial reviews, he comes in at number 2, and he's at 635,000, and he's actually still showed pretty good growth considering for that 6-month period. Now we keep going. I don't know who Legions of Men are, but apparently in the number 5 spot right now, the number 4 spot is me. I got an 89 rating. Now, when they were doing this initially, they got to 218,000. I was maybe a touch over that in November. And then you could see what my growth is. My growth is 1.38% in my subscribership, because I'm probably the one that they're riding the most right now, because Myron and Fresh and even Fresh and Fit Clips got demonetized right around the time that they began tracking these numbers, because they've been demonetized for almost a year right now. Fresh and Fit Clips, Richard Cooper's channel, Richard Cooper Channels. This is all of his channels, by the way. Rich Coop is at, he's close to 1 million, right? Now he's over 1 million right now, but look at that. They throttled him back. So in 6 months, he only had a 3.67% growth. This is a civil rights violation. You are impeding my capacity to earn revenue. You are and by limiting my right to free speech. Pearly things. Now you'll also see Sandman, Legion, Fresh and Fit, and Pearl has asterisks by them. I'll tell you why that is in a moment. 85. She was at 1.8 and she only got up to 1.9. She still did fairly well considering all of the, but then again, it doesn't matter because she is demonetized. They give up on you if you're demonetized. Steph is Cold. Damn, Steph is Cold got on this. 84. 451,000. He's at 456,000. He actually took one of the worst hits on here. 21 Studios, which is a joke. And hasn't been viable for probably about 8 years now. How they were even on this list, I don't know. Aaron Clary, of all people in the fucking universe, has a 75 of 105 rating on here. Sorry, Aaron. Sorry. You got knocked down. What are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got ninth place. Ninth place. Here's Aaron Clary. He was at 110,000. He's at 120,000. So he made it 10,000. He only got to, so they throttled him back, but actually he was doing of all of us. Well, next to Fresh and Fit Clips, which doesn't count because they got demonetized. He actually probably did the best with this block, with this cement cinder block tied to us. Okay. So now they're going to go and they're going to give you all of these, by the way, all of these profiles, they have to profile all the people first, right? Sandman, a prominent white male MGTOW influencer hailing from Canada, is known for creating original content presented through voiceovers accompanying various images. He delves into a wide range of topics related to MGTOW, addressing them well before they gain mainstream attention. Sandman's videos consistently score high in terms of effort and engagement. His content provides a comprehensive exploration of reasons why women might be perceived as primarily interested in high-status men. Additionally, Sandman discusses how he views feminists as a potential threat to society, offering his perspective on these complex subjects. Despite his foresight and early entry into the MGTOW movement, he basically is the MGTOW movement, and red pill discussions, Sandman has maintained a relevance and growth. In November of 2023, he boasted 203,000 subscribers. By March 2024, his followership had increased only to 206,000. So he made a whole grand total of 3,000 subs since he was put on this filtration system, on this redirection system, like me, like Rich, like Myron, like Aaron. Okay, MTR, same thing. All of these, by the way, and I'm going to read mine because you already know who I am and you're going to understand exactly the likelihood of this being written by AI. Okay. The Rational Male, Rollo Tomasi, known as the Rational Male, is a white man in his 50s. Thank you. Who resides in Nevada with his wife. Okay. His content primarily, like, how is that relevant? It's relevant if it's AI that is writing this. His content primarily features him seated and discussing various topics related to the manosphere. A prominent advocate of the red pill ideology, Tomasi distinguishes himself by opposing tradcon influencers and extensively delving into the concepts of hypergamy. Tomasi's videos often critique and scrutinize figures within the same community. Notable instances include criticisms of Jordan Peterson and Matt Walsh. So apparently they believe that Jordan Peterson and Matt Walsh, this AI that's writing this, are part of the red pill, are part of the manosphere. Apart from his online presence, Tomasi has authored several books on intersexual relationships, solidifying his influence in the realm of the manosphere. His first blog began in 2011, and he released his first book in 2013, all of which can be found on my biography on my author's page on Amazon. His content, which heavily emphasizes red pill ideology, no, it doesn't. In fact, if you know anything about me, I consistently say, what? Red pill is a praxeology, not an ideology, not a belief set, nothing. But it doesn't matter because when AI is writing it for you, this is what you get. His content, which is heavily emphasizes red pill ideology and hypergamy, has garnered. So I mentioned hypergamy, therefore I must get a higher score on the peril rating. Despite his high standing in these aspects, his channel score is tempered by a lower ranking in female dishonesty due to a perceived lack of discussion on this particular subject. In terms of, if I talked about more about women's dishonesty, that's the thing is I don't talk about women's dishonesty. I talk to women from Las Vegas on Access Vegas, and I think they're probably some of the most honest individuals I've ever encountered because they're OnlyFans girls, because they're effectively prostitutes. And what are you going to say? Got it? Okay. Due to a perceived lack of discussion on this particular topic. So because I got cut a break, I got knocked down 3 levels because I don't talk about women's dishonesty. In terms of subscribers, Rollo Tomasi experienced a modest growth on his channel. In November of 2023, he had 218,000 subs. By March of 2024, this number had increased to 221. I'm now at 223. This consistent following suggests sustained interest in his expertise on red pill philosophy and intersexual dynamics within the manosphere. Now, the reason why they put an asterisk by all of this stuff is that Myron and Fresh got demonetized. So to say that they are in any way concerned with the messaging that these guys are going, these guys have been propagating since, well, really now 3 years, going a little over 3 years now. If it wasn't about the money, then why would they put an asterisk by them? Then why would they worry about their subscribership? Why wouldn't they worry about their subscribership? Because it's about the money. It's not about reach. They still have a huge reach. They have a huge reach on Rumble. They have a huge reach on YouTube. Even today, even though they're kind of like, sunsetting themselves from YouTube, they still have a huge audience. Most of it came from YouTube. And whether they are monetized or demonetized doesn't affect their reach. So is it about reach? Is it about propagating the message? Or is it about killing their business? Because once they are demonetized, they don't pay attention to them. They don't really care about them all that much. Rich Cooper. Rich Cooper is the creator of Entrepreneurs in Cars, as well as the channel Rich Cooper Clips, and the Unplugged Alpha is a middle-aged Canadian white man. Why is that pertinent? Before his tenure on YouTube, how is being a white man or a black man pertinent to what their mission statement is? It's not, unless they have an agenda, unless they have a wokesy agenda. Before his tenure on YouTube, Cooper was a self-described financial manager. His website boasts that he ran Canada's most successful private debt relief company. Early on, Cooper published a book. Actually, it wasn't early on. The Unplugged Alpha, which promotes red pill content. Building on this book, Cooper then went on to create YouTube channels where he advertises his book and sprinkles content from it into various videos. Cooper mainly makes content that urges viewers to consume the red pill and delve further into the manosphere by rejecting aspects of society, especially aspects of the nice guy. In November 2023, Cooper had a following subscribers on his channel, 692,000, and then and his clips was 242. And anyways, they go through all this. They're basically very proud. They have to show their work, right? Just pearly things. Again, she was demonetized, so they don't really, like, here it is. As of November 2023, Davis' channel was demonetized. As of that time of this writing, there is no official statement from YouTube. However, so that right there proves that they are in collaboration with YouTube with this. Okay. So they can't really give you accurate estimates of her reach because she's been demonetized, and they don't really care about that. Steph is cold. There you go. Aaron Clary. Now this will be the last one I read, because Aaron Clary, the fact that they use that image for Aaron is just like a criminal act, or not. Aaron Clary is a white man in his 40s and is known for his content that spans diverse interests, including salsa dancing and economics. That's what you're going to include in your biography. Okay. Because AI wrote this, copy AI, I don't know, GPT, whatever it is, including salsa dancing and economics. However, a significant aspect of his content is characterized by misogynistic views and a belief in the societal benefits of the patriarchy. Clary engages with his audience through live streams where he addresses topics requested by subscribers, ranging from news articles to questions, while advocating for traditional gender roles with supporting, quote unquote, in scare quotes, economic statistics. maybe because he's been an actuary and an economist for most of his professional life. While scoring high in various aspects, his overall rating is impacted by a lower score in female dishonesty. I guess he sucks to be us, Aaron. Attributed to a perceived lack of emphasis on this subject within his content. Regardless, Aaron Clary has experienced a growth in his following. In November of 2023, he had 110,000 subs. In 2024, he had 120,000. Okay, so that's how this works. So you get an idea of what I'm talking about here. And I'll stop sharing that. There we go. Okay. Jeez, man, what happened to my light? There we go. Much better. So, long story short, Diverting Hate is an NGO, not unlike the ones that was Eli Crane was talking about. And I'm going to make the connection here. And a lot of people think I might be mistaken to do so. Sorry, I had to get that out. Now, there's more to this. This is it's a 55-page report. I'll make this available if anybody wants to get a hold of it. Passport Bros makes an appearance in here. Trad wives make an appearance in here. Modern women for male loneliness. They blame modern women for male loneliness. That's in here as well. Hitting the wall. That's in here. So essentially what they've done is they've created their own little world into which we're all supposed to participate in, and essentially quashed freedom of speech. They've quashed even who's going to anybody want to sign up? Oh, there you go. Anybody want to sign up for the girl world here? There. Okay, much better. Sorry, I had to put studio lighting on because it got dark all of a sudden. We actually had a storm come through here yesterday. Okay, so let me get to these super chats here just real quick, and then I'm going to I'll explain to you where the money goes. We're going to follow the money here, children. Has this NGO been reported to the Waste, Fraud, and Abuse Hotline? Not that I'm aware of. That's a good question. I didn't know that was something you could do. Hey, thank you very much, Sean Bipley. Thank you. Still doing that. I'm surprised JBP didn't make the list. Yeah, he didn't because he is. You know why? And you know why Matt Walsh didn't. Like you would think that they would be on that, right? But they're also licensed to Daily Wire. So I'm fairly sure Daily Wire has some sort of arrangement with YouTube. So essentially what they've done is they've contracted through technological ways, have found a way to basically choke my traffic and to and everybody on the list. Now I'm going to use myself as an example, but everybody on that list. And they're very proud of this. They're giving you the biannual report. In 6 months, this is what happened. Rollo's growth was slowed to 1.38%. His subscribership. Right. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. Even if they booted me off of all video platforms, I'm still going to write books. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. So, and that's the thing is like, it's essentially trying to find a way to automate censorship. And that's what Eli Crane was talking about, because Eli Crane, when he was criticizing Dr. Prettyface, whatever fuck she was, when he's criticizing her, he was using, right-wing media sources were also, by the way, are also subject to similar methodology that Diverting Hate, the McCain Institute, and the DHS are doing to the manosphere right now. And again, 90% of this report sounds like it was written by AI. And certainly the profiles do. I can give you that right now. I'm surprised he didn't make the list. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't either, but actually I'm not, because he is, technically, because he's got a licensure with the Daily Wire, more or less is sort of protected under that. I don't agree with the term incel. Neither do I. I think deep down, every man knows he needs to be the best version of himself and work hard. I think the term should be voluntary celibate. Yeah, I've said that before. In fact, I'll be the first to admit I've said that there's no such thing as an involuntary celibate. If you want to get laid, come to Nevada, fly into Reno or fly into Vegas. I will take you to the brothels that are out here. I will guarantee you will no longer be involuntarily celibate. If you come out here, I will get you laid. I can 100% guarantee you will get laid because I will take you to a brothel. I'll take you somewhere else. You have a brothel game. That's what I'm going to teach you. Right? No, it is 2024. If you want to find a way to get laid, you can get laid. These guys don't want that. They want something that you want to know why OnlyFans is so seductive. It's because the guys don't just want. I got Mike is calling me right now. They don't just want. They don't just want to rub one out. They want something more than that. What is Mike? What do you want, Mike? Mike, I'm in the middle of a show right now. If you would like to watch, somebody send Mike Sartain. Actually, maybe I should do that. Here, Mike, I'm going to stop the show so I can send you the link. Oh, okay. View shows on your channel. Why? Here we go. In case you needed this, Mike, here you go. Here you go, Michael. Hi, Mike. Okay. All right. Getting back to it. You and the red pill isn't political, but everyone against you and the red pill is political on both sides. Yeah. Well, that's you know who taught me this lesson? I'll tell you what's funny is like I was watching what was I watching? Oh, I was watching why is it brighter than it needs to be? If I can get this to come up here. So I'm trying to get the lighting set up a little bit better than I had it. No, you know who taught me this was MLD. When MLD went on, it was a while ago, about maybe a year ago. It was MLD was in the middle. He was on whatever podcast, and he was like sitting in the middle of whatever podcast. He's right there. And then on one side is like the hose, right? By the way, this is how it's always set up. Brian, you probably know this, but I'm gonna out you right now. All the hose, all the 304s and the hookers are always on the right side of the table, and all the traditional wifey conservative, you know, the wife quality churchy girls, churchy guys and churchy girls, they're on the right side of the right side or the left side of the table. 304s on the right side of the table. Well, wedged in between was MLD, and he's just watching this sort of go. But I'm like, this is a perfect analogy for the red pill because we don't align with the conservative right, and we don't align with necessarily with the 304s either. We're just sort of trying to be the voice of objective reality between the two of them. And it's just like, all it is this back and forth. And at that moment, I'm like, that's why the red pill is always going to be stuck, because we're not interested in like ideological, you know, proselytization. We're there to figure out what the truth is. And here's, you know, here's MLD, which no flame on MLD. I would have done just the same thing too. Hope is necessary, but a beacon of hope is not a strategy. Anything against women is misogyny. Piers Morgan. Yeah. Remember that? That's when, God, I even called that out too. Remember? Rational Trucker, you know this. When it was the first interview of Andrew Tate on Piers Morgan, and that was exactly what came. Those are the words that came out of Piers Morgan's mouth. Anything against women is misogyny. Any critic, they are above reproach. If you have a vagina, you are above reproach to Piers Morgan, or at least maybe that's what he was thinking at the time. And anything unflattering about women is as well. Yeah. And that now you know why I'm on the peril list. The male supremacy is what has always been written in the Bible. They are against the beliefs of certain people. Well, yes, but here's the thing. Rational agent. That's actually a really good observation. Where's my book? Hold on one second. I got to go get the book. All right. So this book that I happen to bring to Las Vegas with me is called Alpha God. It's by Dr. Hector Garcia. All right. Hector Garcia personally is really more, he's kind of like a feminist, right? He's really more of a male apologist, but he does his homework. I will give him that. Data wise, research wise, the dude is 100%. He's on point. How he interprets that data is really through a gynocentric lens. But getting back to your point where like people like to make that comment, they like to say, well, patriarchy is the Lord's way of, organizing society because it's in the Bible. Well, yeah, all Abrahamic religions are patriarchal. And the reason why they're patriarchal is because that patriarchy is an extension of the natural order of things. So the way if you want to say, well, this is the way the Lord wanted us all to be. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I'm also going to point out the fact, cause I got to be in between the two, right? I'm going to point out the fact that patriarchy exists because it's a natural way of organizing society, because men are what women are masculine, provisioning, providing, protecting, parentally investing men are valuable. And when we look, I think I can get, if you really want me to recover the big head babies concept, once again, women are the vulnerable sex and men are the sacrificial sex, right? There are more acts of altruism in human males than you will find altruism in females. Men, like for instance, the guy who got shot at the Trump rally, right? What was he doing? He was sheltering his family. Instantly puts himself between his family and live ammunition. Same thing happened in some of these other mass shootings, like something Holmes? I can't remember the guy's name. The Aspen, Colorado movie theater shooting, which happened a long time ago now, but men put themselves physically in front of women that they didn't even know and took bullets for them, right? Because it's an instinctual thing. It's what I call the male protector instinct, and like for instance, like at what was it when the Las Vegas shooting happened? 77 people died. We still don't know what that was all about. Nobody wants to ask questions about it, but several guys died because they put themselves in front of live ammunition to save women that they didn't even know. It's an instinctual altruism because eggs are expensive and sperm is cheap. And in the instance right there, you might, like a lot of guys go, I would never do anything like that. Yeah, if you didn't have the time to think about it, you would instinctually try to protect the women because the women are the incubators of the next generation and men are sacrificial. And I can even go all the way back here, and the ultimate act of sacrifice. What is it? A man died on a cross for the sins of the world, right? That's a man sacrificing himself in the greatest act of altruism, which is a red pill concept. Okay. It's men sacrifice. Eggs are expensive. Sperm is cheap. Men can die. Women cannot, because women can produce more humans. Somehow, some way, women can produce more humans. And that's an instinctual, evolutionary, innately hardwired into our firmware aspect of human nature. Okay, certainly about men. And so when guys go, well, I would get on the lifeboats and the Titanic. Yeah, well, you probably would because, you didn't live back there and you didn't understand how society was structured back then. But even if that were the case, it's because you had time to think about it. Death was not immediate. If there's an immediate physical danger to yourself, you probably would jump in front of live ammunition to protect a woman, and you wouldn't even know why you did it, because it would be this instinctual, like, impetus, stimuli that would force you and push you in front of them, right? Most guys go, no, I would never do it. The only reason you could think I would never do that is because you have time to think about it now. If it was happening right there in the moment, that's when it would happen. Now, so is Christianity, is Islam, is Judaism are those patriarchal religions? Yes, they are. That's why we refer to God as He with a capital H, because that's where it's derived from. It's derived from male humans. And who is the highest order male human? An alpha male. That's why it's alpha God, right? Well, if we can take that and we can aggrandize it if we can deify an alpha male, it looks an awful lot like the God of Abraham. So you're correct in the fact that, patriarchy is a religious thing and they hate religion. Yeah, but they also hate the natural order of things too. so I agree, but from another aspect. Why do you say the red pill is a praxeology when it includes so many topics, including genetics, evolution, endocrinology, stats, laws, finances, and social? That's exactly why I call it that's why I call it a praxeology, because each one of those topics you just mentioned right there, genetics, evolution, endocrinology, all that other stuff, all of that is hard. Well, with the exception of like sociology, all of that is hard science. All of those are hard sciences. Endocrinology, evolution, evolution's maybe it's not as hard as like some of these others, but because it's a hard science. And now what is praxeology? A praxeology is the study of human behavior in that human behavior has a purpose. Okay, well, what's motivating that purpose? Genetics, evolution, endocrinology, stats, laws, finances, sociology. All of those play a part in the praxeology of the red pill. That's why I call it that. It's as close an approximation as I can get. If there was a better word and a better term, I might reconsider that. But praxeology has been the most useful, most utilitarian term I could probably find, because and primarily because if you can turn the red pill into an ideology or a philosophy or a religion or a set of beliefs or a movement or whatever, then you can fight it on those terms. Well, they're wrong and we're right. It's not about what is true. If you turn the red pill into an ideology or a philosophy, you can fight it as a philosophy. But if it's a praxeology and it's about empirical data and empirical stats and you can't fight it on those terms, you lose. You lose. Good day, sir. Yes, you lose. That's why I keep telling these guys, and I've told Andrew Wilson this, I've told a lot of guys, you don't need religion and emotional arguments to win these debates with wokesy progressive liberals. You just need empirical data, because the moment they run out of gas, that's when they resort to emotional language. That's when they go, "Who hurt you? What was your childhood like? Have you ever been in love? You need to go touch grass. What was it? What was that? How is your relationship with your family?" Like suddenly they turn into fucking Sigmund Freud. They're all about Jung up until that point, and then they got to go and say, and now they're Freudian. Well, what was your relationship with your parents like? Yeah, praxeology, man. That's it. So that the reason I keep bringing it, I harp on that all the time, is because if you don't qualify what we taught, the empirical data and the discussion, that means the data, even just the discussions, the interaction, the debating of ideas in the crucible of open debate, right? You can't challenge the strength of an idea unless you have a crucible of open debate. Well, guess what? Diverting Hate doesn't want you to have that. YouTube simply doesn't. Well, they're complicit in that anyways. I'm not saying they do or they don't. Apparently the McCain Institute doesn't. The DHS is willing to give my tax dollars to these sons of bitches so they can throttle my traffic because they don't want that crucible of open debate. They don't even want the questions. You're a misogynist and a male supremacist if you even ask the question. That's why I keep saying, I've joked about this in the past, but it's not really a joke anymore. It's like, I'm not afraid of people who have questions. I'm scared to death of people who have no questions or won't allow any questions or want to cut your oxygen off, or I don't know, erase you from reality because you asked the wrong question. That's the thing that gets me, is like every time I go lock horns with idiots like fucking, Mac and Murphy or Alex from Date Psych, or some of these guys who want to sort of like be evolutionary psychology gatekeepers, right? Which is a nice way of saying they're anti-red pill and that's all they fucking live for, right? As the moment that you go and you use sort of this back and forth with them, the moment you start talking about data and stuff like that, it's just basically, challenging study versus study. I'm more into that than I am having people tell me like, you can't ask those questions. And I think with the problem that a lot of the gatekeepers have is that it's not even so much what the red pill puts forth. They think that it's proselytizing. They think that we're trying to advance an ideology. We are not. We're putting out information that they are well aware of. It's one thing to collect data. It's one thing to state state facts and statistics and things like that. It's another thing to interpret that, and that's the problem that they have with the red pill. Is they, myself and Mike and a lot of other people, Brian Stone, a lot of the other people who are I consider more like sort of like the higher luminaries of the red pill. It's the questions that they ask that because the way that they're interpreting the data. Well, how come you? My question is this: how come you don't see this as an interpretation? Well, you're trying to advance an agenda. No, I'm not. I'm asking a question that you simply don't have an answer for, or you don't want to consider the question because by considering the question, you yourself, Mac and Murphy and Alex and Will and all these other guys who are supposed to be the gatekeepers of evolutionary psychology, you might end up on the peril watch list as a result of having to answer those questions. So to me, it looks like you're dancing around things and dancing around interpretations and don't want to actually give a real concrete answer to these things because it's the questions that are going to get you in trouble. I'm not afraid of questions. As I said, I am not scared of people who have questions. I'm terrified of people who have no question about anything. That's the reality of it. I dominate and win at work all the time, and women ignore me. But if I fail one time, they give me attention. My mom said, "Oh, that's an alpha male." Okay, you fail one time. They give me attention. Okay, so, well, thanks, Carl. There you go. I'm just going to leave that alone. Well, here, Carl. Here. Oh, this comes to mind. What is it? What do they say in the military? It's like. One oh shit erases 10 attaboys. Maybe that's what you're experiencing. Thanks for your life-saving work. You've saved my and many friends' lives. Love and respect from Norway. Thank you. From Norway. Well, love and respect from Denmark, my friend. Rolo, do you think the male supremacy scale metric will impact credit scores in the future? Yeah, well, I think people have asked me that before. That it's like social credit. Like in China, they have a social. Like if you toe the party line, then you're gonna you get more advantageous loans or some shit. Yeah, it probably will, more or less. I mean that. Okay, put it this way, that would probably be the tip of the iceberg. I think people don't realize that they're probably already subject to a lot of this. I don't know, maybe I won't live long enough to really worry about it, but we'll see. It's not about the money, it's not about the nail. Yeah, true. People just want to vent. Is that what you're trying to say? Are those miniature paints on your desk behind you? Yes, they are. Thank you very much. Would you like to see? Here. That's a Space Wolf Razorback back there. I've been working on a very small force of Space Wolves. They're not necessarily my favorite, but I kind of got into the lore when I was reading this one book that I thought was pretty kind of cool. And I don't have any armies here in Las Vegas, so I just decided to start a new one while I was down here, which is the last thing I need to do. Implied leader, what's the best way to explain red pill content consumption to a new plate or girlfriend who discovers this about ourselves? Do I need to be secretive and protective? If she's already figured it out, then no, you don't. I'm of the opinion that you should not ever talk about the red pill especially to women that you want to become intimate with. Because you have to be, it's going to be something that they're going to discover along the way anyways. The problem is this. I don't think you should ever explain it. Certainly don't offer it. Right. The problem that you're going to run into, this is a really good topic. And if Mike's watching, I want to use this as a topic at some point. The problem that guys run into when it comes to women discovering, oh my gosh, it found me out, I'm actually red pill, that they think that that's going to be the end of the relationship. Well, the problem is that it should never come to that point in the first place. If you're spinning plates, okay, meaning you're dating non-exclusively. But I think a lot of people think that if you're red pill, or you're learning how to be more masculine, you're trying to become the best version of yourself, and you're not quite there yet, but you're still dating a hot chick who like really thinks the world of you, and you're kind of green when it comes to red pill. Women want to believe that you're just the way you are. Now, why do I say that? I was watching Mike Sartain, and he was on Alex from Playing with Fire. I don't know why you keep entertaining this dude, but anyways, the topic was the official topic was, is the red pill sleazy? Meaning, is it manipulative? Is it game playing? Like sleazy is this catch-all for like, what's sleazy? Let's define sleazy, right? Because sleazy to me is, a hot piece of ass at a club, at a nightclub in Los Angeles and Hollywood who's just ready to fuck, right? Whatever, is it that? No. But the thing is that the reason why we classify, or the question is, why is it sleazy, or is it sleazy? It's not sleazy. Is it manipulative? Is it selling a woman? And they finally got to this throughout the conversation. Is it selling a woman on the idea that you are something that you are not? And that's the problem that you're going to run into, implied leader. It's the idea that you are not genuine. You are not authentic. And this is where I kind of part ways sometimes with even Justin Waller about this, because Justin is authentically who he says he is. I know he's a family friend. I love him like a brother. My wife and his wife are very good friends. And so we've been really tight for a very long time. I know Justin is who he says he is, but Justin's really Justin can kind of get a little bit, I don't say puritanical, but sort of pontificate a little bit. Because he earned his status. He got where he is today. He's jacked. We all know what his relationship status is. He's the kind of guy that women want to seek out his attentions. Okay. They want to fuck him. Okay. But he earned that, or at least he has the idea that he earned it. Right. And he does. And I know he legitimately has, but he's jacked because he works out. He stays on top of his game. Right. He maintains his quality and his status and his prestige through more or less legitimate ways, right? So to have some guy come around and go, to have Mike Sartain come say, I can teach you how to be the best version of yourself, right? And if that guy's perception of himself is to be like Justin Waller, and he wants to use Mike's program to become not Justin Waller, but somebody like Justin Waller, well, then you can see it as more of like being more inauthentic. As Rich Cooper has said a million times, women don't care about men's struggles. They wait at the finish line and they bang the winners. Okay. Now, I have said in the past that I think this is only half true, but the part that I do think is true is this: is women do not care about men's struggles. They want you to be who you purport yourself to be. If you are an attorney, you better goddamn well be an attorney. If you're a surgeon, if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're jacked, whatever it is, they want to know that you got that. They don't care how you got it, but they want to know that it's legitimate. They want to know that it's for real. And that's what I was trying to point out during, in fact, I even had a discussion with Mike after this. Said the reason why, there's one girl that was on there and she was very upset, very, very upset that because she didn't believe that you could teach a guy to be a quote unquote alpha male. That's not what he's teaching, but how to be a better person, right? How to become the best version of yourself. It doesn't magically happen. It's learned behavior. You have to internalize it and you have to learn this stuff. And that's why I keep saying there's no such thing as a natural. And people go, well, Justin Waller's a natural. Well, yeah, he has the advantage, the head start, let's just say, of being good looking, tall, maybe just born into an advantageous position. At least people think that he really wasn't, but they think so. That's only a head start. He still has to learn the same things that average guys do. He just learns it faster at an accelerated rate. So there's no such thing as a natural. It's just that who we call a natural has certain advantages that accelerate them to becoming the best versions of themselves that you or I might have to struggle with because we don't have those natural talents. It's not that you can't learn those things. It's not that you can't internalize those things. It's not that your personality is not static. There are aspects of it that are static because it's a genetic thing. But men who get deployed to, live action combat come back with PTSD, and it fundamentally changes their personalities. They might still have the same gifts. They might still have the same intelligence, the IQ. They might still have all the same things, but they are fundamentally scarred, and they're doesn't necessarily have to be scarred, but through experience and through circumstance, it modifies the behavior and the personality that they had before they went off and were deployed. So you can either change your own personality on your own, or you can have it changed for you by circumstances. And sometimes those circumstances are good, and sometimes those circumstances are not so good. And we're probably more familiar with the ones that aren't. So when a woman finds out that you are quote unquote red pill, it's like revealing the game. Women don't want to be told that they're playing a game. They want you to be a good player of the game. They want to play the game. They don't want to be told that they're in a game. And so when you say I'm red pill, or they find the rational male on your nightstand, or you're a member of MOA, and then you kind of go, because there's this imposter syndrome that happens in that moment. Unless you own it, unless you are that person, unless you are, that is your authentic internalized personality. But when women see that, it seems like it's disingenuous and you're trying to pull the wool over her eyes. And that's exactly why this one woman that was on this panel show with Mike was so upset about whether or not the red pill and PUA and all this other stuff, men becoming better men, was something that was authentic, because her impression is that men who are authentic don't have to do those things. No, they do, but you don't care about their struggles. You don't care about what it took to get to that position of what you think is authenticity. So if you look at Justin Waller, he seems very, very authentic, but he had to become something else. He had to become something more. He had a burden of performance, and he excelled at that burden of performance. And that is genuinely, authentically who he is. Does that mean that if you're not quite up to that level, you're halfway to that level? Does that mean you are a fraud? No, it just means that you haven't internalized everything. You're just not at that level yet. You're going to be, but you're not at that level yet. But if someone finds out that you're actually learning how to be a better man, and you've been purporting yourself to be that better man, that's when women that's when they think, that's when all the triggers go off. That's when the alert sirens go off. This guy isn't who he says he is. Inauthentic. You know how I know that? Because that's exactly the premise. So that's exactly the sort of the profit model, I guess, of shows like The Bachelor. The Bachelor, and in the lesser part, The Bachelorette, but The Bachelor is the whole reason that's in its 28th, 29th season is because it plays on that need for women to find out authenticity in a guy. Is he really who he says he is? In fact, this is the holistic. I'm considering writing a book called The Red Pill Holistic Method, right? That also then dovetails into discovering whether or not this guy is authentic, whether he's the real deal. If I can prove that he's not, then I dodged a bullet. It's an evolutionary fail-safe for women. Women's worst fear, their existential fear, is to reproduce with a guy who she thought was an alpha, who later becomes a beta. Or she got tricked by a beta to think he was an alpha, and now she's saddled with his child for the rest of her life. And again, why would that be? Why would that be an existential fear? Well, first of all, it's a life sentence. That's number one. And number two, it's tantamount to rape, because it's sex and it's reproduction that she wouldn't have had she believed that if he were honest, if he were authentic. That's why authenticity is such a paranoid, obsessive, compulsive issue with women. That's why The Bachelor is the most popular show on ABC, has been for a long time, right? Or certainly one of them. That's why it's in its 29th, almost 30th season right now. There are generations that grew up on that show because it triggers, it taps into that pain point that is existing in all women. Is he who he says he is? And then we can carry it on from there. When we talk about shit tests, when a woman shit tests a guy, there's two kinds of shit tests. There's the active shit test and the passive shit test. The active one is like when you meet her at the club and she just like ribbing you to see if you can play the game. Like, are you who you say you are? Are you really an attorney, or are you a sandwich artist at Subway? And that just has really good game and you look good and I'm going to fuck you anyways. Are you who you say you are? That filtration to determine if you are who you say you are, that's connected to the existential fear of women, which is, I don't want to breed with a guy who is a bad reproductive choice. It's sexy sons theory. I want my sons to have the genetics of a guy who is authentically who the fuck he says he is. Okay. And then there's the passive shit test, which is, did I make the right choice? Is he the best I can do? Passive shit tests come after you've already had that pairing. It's for people who are in a long-term relationship, people who are who are married, right? When your wife or woman nags you, why don't you do this? My mom said I should never marry you, blah, 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 blah. All of that passive aggressive negging and that bullshit that comes along with that, all that shit test that comes, it's rooted in one fear. Did I marry a loser? Did I reproduce with someone who isn't who he says he is, or became someone who he purported himself to be prior to us fucking and reproducing, having children? You want to know why women start to lose interest in sex with their husbands 1 to 4 years after marriage? Usually it's because that that hypergamous doubt, is he the best I can do? The answer is no, he's not, and I'm fucked. And I don't want to have sex with this guy anymore because I don't want to throw good eggs after bad. So that's the long way of saying, no, don't talk about it. Be about it. Demonstrate. Do not explicate. I've read the book. I've been reading that book, Rollo, Alpha God. Fantastic read. Yeah, it's awesome. Do you have any other recommendations? Along those lines, no. People want to ask, I'm always hesitant to give people a sort of a reading list because they think that that's like a reading list is going to in some way change their lives. It might not. I'll still give it to you anyways, but just take everything. If I give you like book suggestions, don't think I'm saying that this is going to solve your autism or something like that. It's probably not. Do you want something on the lines of evolutionary psychology? Because the next one I would give you is actually right over here. Yeah, hold on. No, it's not her. It's a book called Promiscuity by Dr. Tim Burkhead. Dr. Tim Burkhead is not an evolutionary psychologist. He's an evolutionary biologist. And I think that one of the things I think about with regard to this, a lot of people think that the red pill is sort of overly dependent on evolutionary psychology. I don't agree with that, but I think that they don't appreciate the fact that I also read a lot of evolutionary biology. I read a lot of, I've kind of like a passing interest in like genetic engineering. Like that's one of the reasons I knew about CRISPR engines and I knew about like mRNA and stuff like that, because I had like a really kind of I still do have a curiosity about like genetic editing. And the sort of the ethics that are involved in that too. But go check out if I have another suggestion that I think is a really great book that I don't really promote all that often, it's called Promiscuity, and it's by Dr. Tim Burkhead. Could you call red pill a science rather than a praxeology? No. Well, there are sciences that contribute to the praxeology that is red pill. That has technically praxeology is a science. It's a loose science that has predicting power. Yeah. Predicting destinies, divorce, predicting 35-year-old women, and betas, predicting low value. Okay. So what you're asking me there, marriage causes divorce. What you're asking me is, can you create a predictive framework from the loose science that is a praxeology, and in this case, the praxeology of the red pill? Yes, you can. In fact, you have to find like a praxeology, and really any science or any data collection, any kind of research is effectively kind of useless until you find a way to put it into practice. I think a lot of the people in the red pill intentionally, and myself included, avoid trying to advocate best practices. Some of those best practices are pretty obvious once you see the stats. Now, what happens is then you have people who want to say, well, that's not always the case. It's what's called whataboutism. Whataboutism. It's all one word. It's actually a thing. Go look it up. People they believe in this principle of there's always something. There's always an exception to the rule. What about? And the problem with whataboutism is it destroys any real useful predictive framework. So there's always this, well, women aren't always, not all women are like that. No, but enough of them are that we can build a predictive framework, and therefore we can make this information practical. That's what I leave up to men to create for themselves. Well, why do I do that? Wouldn't it be, man, it'd be awesome if I had the balls and the chutzpah to go and say, hey, here's Rollo's 12 rules for life. It's based on this praxeology. And if you do these and you follow these step by step, you're going to live a much better life. I would give me your money. I would love to take your money for that. But I'm not going to do that because I have ethical concerns about that. I would insult my audience, my constituency. I would insult my followers if I were to do something like that. Because I know that as a 50-some-year-old middle-aged white man, according to Diverting Hate, I also understand that my experience, my lived experience, is not the same lived experience as some 20-year-old kid in France or Europe or Japan. Right. I would be insulting myself to presume that I could give you a one-size-fits-all, practical use of the red pill. Because the first thing people will say is like, if I do something like that, that's one of the reasons I have such a low regard for people like Jordan Peterson, because it's like 12 rules for life, follow these rules and you'll have a great life. Right. Which played very well when he published it. But then he did 12 more rules for life, which was just another money grab because he thought he could capitalize on the success of the first book. And again, people love lists. They love to think that somebody has a step-by-step guide for them. If they just practice all of these 12 rules in succession, and we'll live a better life. 12 rules for life. Number 1, follow that. Number 2, it's like you get all the way up to 12th level, and then now you're the best version of yourself. No. Because people have different experiences. People are born in different times, people from different generations. And I would not insult my readers or my followers' intelligence by saying that I've got some sort of one size fits all. But what I do have is I can equip you, I can inform you, I can educate you, we can have a discussion about, even if you think I'm wrong, at least I'm going to have the conversation with you so we can determine through debate or whatever, just hashing it out, whether or not this is true or this is not. And if it's true, how can you use it? That's up to you. I describe this in the end chapter of The Rational Male, the Player's Handbook, which everybody thinks is some lay guide. It's not, especially if you read the last chapter. Last chapter, I explain exactly what I just said, which is your life is not paint by number, or God forbid it's paint by number. You remember, do you know what a paint by number is? No, you probably don't. Used to be like these things. You can probably go find them now at Hobby Lobby or something like that. But they're basically a canvas, and it's like a outline of a picture and stuff like that. And in each one of these little sections has like a number, and those numbers correspond to whatever the paint is that they give you in the set. And by the time you paint it all red goes on number 2, green goes on number 8, that kind of thing. So you just do this, and then you always have a very beautiful picture and you spent time doing it. It's probably fun to do, but you're creating something that is like technically it's not creativity. It's just you putting, just doing busy work kind of thing, right? And I always say that, I can give you the paintbrush, I can give you the colors, I can give you the turpentine, I can give you the easel, I can even just, you are the canvas, right? I can give you a palette knife, I can give you all this stuff, but what you put on that fucking canvas, that's up to you. You're the artist and you're the creator of your own life. You're the artist of your own life. I would never take that away from you. That's basically saying free will doesn't exist. I would never do that. In fact, I will fight people who would try to do that. I would, seriously, a hill you want to die on, I would fight people who want to say that your life should be their paint by number. Fuck you. In fact, I would expect anybody who follows me to tell them the same thing. A hearty fuck you. Because that's your canvas, and I'll give you the paints. I'll give you whatever you do with those tools. And I want to see the picture at the end, because that's really what I'm after. You creating yourself, you creating your own fucking masterpiece. But anybody telling you, I got 12 rules for life, that's paint by number. I got 7 hot tips on how to get a girlfriend back. That's paint by number. And the thing that gets me is like, I got so many of my fucking haters and so many of my critics who want to say that that's what I'm doing. Or they want to say, oh, you only care about selling books. Blah, blah, blah. I do. And you know why? Because those books equip people for better lives so that they can create their own lives. They can paint their own pictures and their own masterpieces. Yes, I do. I guess I'm selfish in that capacity. What I'm not going to take money. I'm not going to do that. How do you think I can do this? The thing is like, if I had like a 9-to-5 job, do you think I'd be able to be as effective as I am right now? Fucking ludicrous. I want you guys to create your own predictive frameworks. I want you guys to create your own lives and paint your own masterpieces. That's what I'm after. And I want you to show me your masterpiece. Women say, I want you to be vulnerable. And I said, how about you be vulnerable? And they said, no. And then I said, well, then why should I be vulnerable then? Vulnerability is bullshit, dude. Don't even use those terms. Stop using vulnerable. Eliminate that from your fucking vocabulary, please. For the love of Christ. Is modern technology or human nature responsible for the current problems in the sexual dynamics? Modern technology and human nature are responsible for the demise of marriage, not feminism. Oh, what are you talking about? Well, you can find out if you click on that link that's right there on Rollo Tomasi's Substack, because that was one of the second to last or the last topic that I wrote about on Substack. Feminism didn't kill marriage. Technology killed marriage. Technology in the sense of like, well, I mean, if you look at like the technology of hormonal birth control, yes. And it's not because it makes women crazy. It's because it impacts so many different aspects of humanity, right? Sociology, the economics, human relationships. It's not because Gloria Steinem said, hey, we should all stop marrying men. We should become the women. We should become the men that we wanted to marry. No. It's because of technology. Marriage is on a steady decline and will probably like fall even further than to 6 per 1,000 very soon. Because I'll tell you what's funny about the whole marriage thing is because people always think, oh, Rollo's anti-marriage. I talked about this with Robert Kiyosaki 2 days ago. It's technology. It's not even a conscious choice. It seems practical not to get married. Even when, like, you want to know why the average age of first marriage for women is 30 and for men it's 32. It's because women think that they can prolong that and find the right guy. They don't want to settle. And why should they settle? Because our old order way, a concept of marriage was a man is the provider. He's the one that has to, for as much as these women want to say it's all about equality, I don't want a 50-50 egalitarian marriage. It's not. That's not why they get married. They want to marry a lifestyle. And if that guy can't provide a better lifestyle than she can already provide for herself, they don't get married. Men or women. It's not men who aren't living up. They're not taking responsibility. So these poor women will get married. No. Women don't have, it's women who don't see any reason to get married. So ladies, when you come at me and say, oh, Rollo Tomasi is responsible for turning these guys away from marriage, fuck you. Go talk to go talk to all the women that you want to lambaste on fucking whatever podcast and wag your finger at. They're the ones. They don't want to get married. Lots of guys would get married if they could, especially guys who are in the 80 percentile who think that the only way they can get married or the only way they can get laid is because is to get married. Young guys who got no prospects, young guys who maybe are on their come up, right? They would probably love to get married. They want to do the right thing. It's women don't want to have because they don't have any prospects. They don't trust those guys. We've systematically made women like completely distrust men for really since the mid 70s. Women don't trust men. Are you kidding? They don't need men. Just go look at those on the street interviews these days. Do we need men? No, fuck men. And of course, stupid ass podcasters think that means that women don't appreciate the fact that like they created the camera or they created the screen or they created the roads that they drove on to get to the podcast or whatever it is. That's the wrong way to think about it. Women don't need men because the perception is they can provide, protect, and provision for themselves. That's where that comes from. That's where that stems from. That hubris and that egotism and that pride and everything that comes out. We don't need no men. No, they need men. They need men who make more money than they do. They need men who have higher prestige than they do. They need men who have a higher status. They need men who are better looking, taller, whatever, 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6-figure income. Yeah, that's the guy they need. Or the guy they want. The guy they want is just a fuck buddy. That's why, and again, Another show I threw out there not too long ago, women are more interested in fuck buddies than they are in getting married right now because they can take care of everything that would have been taken care of for provisioning, protection, and parental investment that used to be taken care of in marriage that they now can take care of for themselves. And even if they can't, they have the perception that they could. And so that's what they look for. That's so settling on a guy that's not their equal or that is not their, they think is their equal. They don't want an equal. They want, women can't look up to a man who is their equal. They need to look up to a man who is their superior, who has a higher status, higher prestige, higher income, who still foolishly believes that he is equal with her. It simply doesn't work that way. It's a paradox. So you want to know if that's exactly why marriage is in the shitter right now. And it has nothing to do with men not living up. It has everything to do with women's entitlement and expectations. And as soon as we realize that, then maybe we can go somewhere. But until trad cons are willing to wag their fingers at women for that, it's never going to happen. Which ESP LTD do you remember do you recommend on a $1,000 budget? Can I go to 1,100? I have one, my favorite. I've got several ESPs, but my favorite one, my workhorse guitar is I have an ESP 1000. It is the Eclipse, and it's the deluxe like anniversary edition. It has the abalone inlays and stuff. Abalone inlays is the ultimate test, the ultimate peak of a high value guitar to me, anyways. And I think if you bought it new, you probably could get it for like 1,100 or 1,200. I bought mine like I reconditioned mine. I customized it and put some new pickups in it. So, but I picked up my Eclipse for about 800. So I know you can get it between 1,000 and 800, but I would get and mine's got it's the cherry quilted cherry wood look. You've probably seen it in some of my past podcasts. That's probably one of my favorite guitars of all time is my Eclipse. But it's an EC 1000 and it's the deluxe edition of the EC 1000. And mine's the cherry red quilted one. I like a guitar question. Ask me more guitar questions. Should I hide your books when I have company? Depends on who that company is. Who's the company? The chicks? You don't have to. I mean, here's the thing is, I've had, this is a joke, okay, but I've had people like, well, their girlfriends will grab the Rational Mail from their boyfriends, right? They're like, he'll be reading the Rational Mail, right? And she'll go, give me that Rational Mail. I'll be the judge of that. And then what they do is they read it for like 3 days or 4 days. And then they come back and they go, everything in that book is true. And you shouldn't know any of it. I don't know. I think it sort of depends on the individual. Who are we talking about? Like all the girls that I know from the show, they read my books. I've given away like dozens of my books. I specifically bought like 20, a box of 20. I got author's copies of my books so I can give them away at like shows like Access Vegas and stuff like that. But there's a lot of women who ask for my books. It's not that they can't handle it, but they probably would be a little bit more sketchy about it if I was trying to sex them, if I was trying to fuck them. I'm not. So like, here, go ahead and read it. Are you trying to fuck these girls? Then you might be I don't know. Your mileage may vary. Is the reason for sexless marriages because she settled for the beta and there's no reason for intimacy once he has provided the diamond ring and the kids? Well, remember this, marriage causes divorce. Marriage is at 6 per 1,000 people right now in the United States. It is at the lowest rate it has ever been since they started recording it in 1849. So is that the reason for a sexless marriage? First of all, most people aren't getting married, period. But of the people who are, I think I brought this up on the sexless marriage show. Anywhere between 20 and 30% of marriages are sexist. Well, I've seen it at 15 to 20, and then I've seen it 20 to 30. Just depends on whose number we're looking at. Let's just round it off, 25%. So of that, I think that a lot of it has to do with expectations. I don't know if maybe this is a conversation I should have with Mike at some point, but like I believe anyways that the idea of settling is I think it kind of runs counter to evolutionary psychology, the idea of settling. We were never meant to be put into women were never meant to be put into a situation where they were worried about settling and then trying to formulate some way to get out of it. Settling, the reason why women are so upset when you even use the word settle. I won't settle for anything but the best. Like no woman wants to. Well, yeah, I settle for this fucking loser, and he goes to play. He bowls on Monday nights, right? No woman wants to say that. Even women who like hate their marriages, they'll still back up their man. Like I've seen guys who go through divorces or about to go through a divorce, or the woman actually, in private, she just hates his guts. She's like that chick that was in Fort Lauderdale airport, right? But if you attack that guy, that's when she jumps to his defense. I thought you hated this guy. You told him he was a fucking loser. Yeah, but he's my loser, right? And the reason why women will defend their man, even though they hate their man, is because that man is a reflection of who they can get. Their egos are associated with the type of guy who they have settled on or consolidated, however who they become intimate with. I have literally seen guys, worked with guys whose wives will browbeat them and just like henpeck them and just like they just ride their asses all the time. And then if I or one of my friends say, yeah, man, fucking, it's time for you to man up, man. What's the fucking wrong with you? That bitch will physically come right in between us and go, you take that back. He's a good man of God. And he goes to church on Sundays and he makes a lot of money and he takes care of this family. And I make him mac and cheese every Thursday night. That she would just get up all up in your grill and everything like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? You just like 5 minutes ago, you were browbeating this guy. Doesn't matter because that guy is associated with her ego. This is the kind of guy I can get. And it's like, he might be a loser, but he's my loser. And the problem is when you get to the point where she doesn't defend you, that's when you're fucked. That's when you know you're really in bad shape. But no, the idea of being associated with that guy is really you want to know why she won't have sex with you inside that marriage is usually because you're not answering the question, which is he the best I can do? You have to be the best that she can do at all times. And most average guys simply can't do that because the average guy's overweight. The average guy doesn't work a high status job. The average guy doesn't have prestige. And even if he does have a marginal amount of prestige at work, very rarely is he able to display that in front of his wife. I know this because I have obviously I have a high prestige job. I'm around beautiful women all the time. And my occasions for displaying higher value, my occasions for pre-selection are the next event that me and Mike are doing, the next Access Vegas. Hell, even my show, right? I can do that. I'm not doing that to fiendishly manipulate my wife or anything like that. It's just what I do. And so even when I wasn't doing this line of work, I was still doing liquor promos. I was still working in casino marketing as well. And I was still around beautiful people all the time. I didn't have as much opportunity to display social proof or pre-selection in as much as I do now. But that's what throws people off, I think. I had, I know what it was. Oh God, I should show this to you. I'm very tempted to show you this Twitter thread that I got involved with last week. What was it? Oh, it was what the hell is her name? Cat Canada, or whatever her name was. That's her online name, right? Cat Canada. She went and took the time and the trouble to create this montage. And this is one image, okay? This is not like a bunch, like 4 different Twitter images. This is a one image montage of myself. Forget the guy who's Chase from, and I had no idea who was like this, but Chase from Brian's whatever podcast, and Justin Waller and a few other people from the Manosphere with their shirts off, right? Like all just jacked and like, you know. And I'm like, I don't like. She took pictures of me. Now I think I was at Wet Republic or something, but she's like showing me. She's like basically buffing me out here, thinking that this is a win for her, right? Puts me on there, puts Justin Waller on there shirtless. Justin looks like he could go, like he's ready. He's got his IFBB Pro card. And even Chase, who I had no idea worked out the way he does, he got a fucking hairy chest, just all this shit like that. She's like throwing him on there, like, oh, imagine being 60 years old, how cringe, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, I'm not 60. And then second of all, it's like, you're kind of helping me out here. And then I just took that whole thread as like, well, if you want to come to Vegas, I got lots of girls that'll help you out. You know, if you really want, you went to all this trouble to like tell us how cringe we are, but yet you went and made this collage of us, you know, more or less shirtless and everything. I was like, I don't think this is the win that you think it is, Kat. Oh, it was, and then a lot of people sort of back that up. Like, these guys are living their best life. Like, look, they're hanging out with these women and everything, and they're actually in pretty good shape for their age. So, in my case, anyway, and I think she expected to get this win, and then she just went like crickets after that. But I had all these people who were saying like, well, whenever they see my shots of me like on Instagram, or if I'm hanging out with Maya, or if I'm hanging out with Kindly Myers, or I'm hanging out with like some very attractive women at like, say, Babes in Toyland, people instantly think that I'm trying to flex on them and show them that, oh, these are the girls I'm fucking. That's not what I'm doing. It's optics for sure, but it's just me having a good time, and you don't want to see people that, you know, say, hey, here's what I'm doing. When I'm on Instagram, I'm not trying to flex on people. I'm just saying, here's what I'm doing in my life right now. I post pictures of Ned. I post pictures of Ned in the freaking in the hydrotherapy. Nobody says shit about that. Oh, you're flexing with Ned. Come on, man. No, he has a problem with that. But like, if I go and I'm show myself, hanging out on the back end of like Fresh's Audi, then people like lose their shit. Why do you think you're so cool? Yeah, I kind of do, actually. I'm gotten to the point where I can't post a picture on Instagram or any social media without people automatically thinking it's a flex. So I guess I'm going to lean into it. Okay, it's a flex. But the first thing out of anybody's mouth, and I get this all the time, is like, aren't you married? Yeah, coming up on 28 years. Next, on the 20th of this month, it'll be 28 years. And you watch for this, by the way, because this is coming up. I'm going to tweet this out. I tweet this out on every one of my anniversaries. On July 20th, I will tweet this out. It will be, today will have been married for 28 years. Or no, 28 years ago today, I got married. I'm just going to leave it at that. And people are either too pissed off or they're too happy about it. Watch the responses. I'm going to do this. It will be on Saturday, July 20th. Okay. That's my anniversary day. I got married in Lake Tahoe, California, to the love of my life, my girl. And I think, you know what, I joked about it. You guys are the only ones who are going to listen to this. Okay. I'm going to do a soft launch. I'm not going to show pictures of my wife, but I'm going to do like one of these where we're staying at, because I'm going to take her someplace off for this one. But I'm going to do a soft launch with my wife. I might I don't drink, but she might have a glass of champagne and I'll have some orange juice or some shit like that. And I'll just like do one of these numbers, or like our feet and the view or something. It's a soft launch with Rolo and his wife. Because people don't even realize that I've been married for 28 years. But the thing is like, whenever I go and I put out a picture of like, say, me and Maya, we're at Wet Republic, people go, aren't you married? And yeah. And the reason why we have such a strong marriage is because my wife is totally cool. She enjoys the fact that I am, high value enough that I can hang out with women who are like half my age. She enjoys that. Like, that is a strength of our marriage. People just simply can't wrap their heads around that. And the reason why they can't wrap their heads around it is because, again, it's that existential fear. I am who I say I am. And my wife knows who I am. And I have ample opportunity to show through pre-selection, social proof, that I'm a guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. I'm not fucking any of them. I only have sex with my wife, but it's a strength of my marriage, not some sort of like they think that they're going to go, hey, aren't you married? Yeah, I am. Please don't tell my wife. That's what they expect. Like, oh, are you going to call her up? Are you going to look her up and tell her? Please don't. I've been doing this for how long now? 22 plus years. Do you think that my wife doesn't know what I do? Really? Do you think she doesn't watch all my shows? Do you think she doesn't like follow me on? She follows me on Instagram, by the way. Is the reason for sex? Okay, so that's a sexist marriage question. Where's this other one? Rolo, is that Ray Harryhausen lamp behind you? Ray Harryhausen lamp? Which one? This one? No, this is a really good light, by the way. It's not an OT light, it's something else, but it's a good broad spectrum light. So if I'm painting, that's what I put on there. And by the way, it's not just for miniatures. I also draw and I do gouaches. I've been getting into gouaches lately. Everyone loves their rights, but what do women think about individual responsibilities? Also, you gotta try out an airbrush. It's funny you should say that. It's right there. I've got a whole airbrush kit in Reno, and I've got a little small one here, but it's just for doing like troops and stuff. Like I've been using airbrushes for a long time. I have some really expensive airbrushes in Reno. Individual responsibility. Well, the thing is that if you look at it in terms of how do women organize societies and how do men organize societies, women don't understand the end. Basically, I'm gonna say understand, but they don't prioritize individual responsibility. They prioritize collective responsibility because women think collectively. Men tend to think more individually because men are hierarchical and women think in the round. That's just the way we evolved. Hunter-gatherers, right? Women were the gatherers. They were the berry pickers. And I don't care what anybody tells you about how they hunted too. No, they didn't. And I will prove that to you anytime you'd like. Actually, I'm glad you don't give advice. I'll have a red pill buddy who constantly gives me advice, and his advice is always just do what I do. Yeah. Not helpful. Do you think that the existential fear she feels in late life could lead to self-deletion after losing her husband? Is the feeling that strong? Not usually. Remember, women tend to live, on average, 10 years longer than men do, just on average. Now, I hate looking at those statistics when people go, well, longevity-wise or mortality rates or whatever else, women tend to live 10 years longer than men do. Well, that's because men also involve themselves in much more physically, mortality risking vocations and activities than women do. So it's not necessarily because, who's going to get sick first? Who's going to get sick and die first, right? Maybe on average, men might decay and die of old age 10 years before women do. That might be the case, but that's not really what the statistic is about. Because if you take everything in sort of aggregate and you say, well, women live 10 years longer than men. Yeah, because men take risks that women won't take. Men drive fast cars. Men work in much more dangerous environments. They have much more dangerous vocations. They tend to die far more than women do when it comes to violent crime. They're more often the perpetrators of that crime, but they're also more often the victims of violent crime as well. So all of that plays into mortality rate. Now, does that mean that she's going to off herself because she lost the love of her life? Probably not. The thing that gets me is like, I don't think a lot of, I need to look up studies on this. So just take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But I think that there's this phenomenon, right? When a wife dies in old age, right? 70s, 80s, when the wife dies first, the man is not too far off. Like he gives up, his will to live is gone. Right. If let's just say both of them are 80 years old and the woman dies and the husband stays alive, odds are that guy's probably going to die within the next 1 to 2 years because there's just sort of this loneliness and this no will to live. There's no purpose to it's what's called ikigai, right? It's a Japanese word. It's called a will to live, like what you do to what keeps you going. Right. And which I know it's a concept, but I think there's something to it. But for women, it doesn't work that way. So if the husband dies, the woman will keep going on and probably be okay with it for quite some time, right? If she's taken care of, if her security needs are met, she's probably going to live anywhere between 10 and 20 years past where that guy was, because women don't invest as much of themselves in a man as a man invests in a woman. I can show that to you in old age. You have a couple who has been married for 30, 40, 50 years. The woman dies, the man is probably going to die a year to 2 years after that. If it's the opposite way, the woman will stick it out and she'll have something else. She has friends. She's got her Bible study. She's got sewing. She's got whatever it is, that old woman, right? She's going to stick it out. She wants to stick it out for the grandchildren or whatever else, right? Now, here's the question. Is that some sort of cruel joke? I don't think so. I think it's just the nature. I think it's just human nature. It's just female nature and male nature. Oh, well, it would be more like poetic justice if she died a year to 2 years after he did. I don't think so. I think it's just the way that it's just hard coded into our. I don't think it's right or it's wrong. It seems like it's pretty fucked up. Oh, she lives another 10 or 20 years afterwards. It's just the way it is. But the only time that I think women would be that distraught, rational agent, is if the guy was such a high value alpha that she knows she could never replace a guy like that. That's in a rare occasion, then I would agree with that. Is emotional vulnerability a woman's way to find out if her man is a weakling to get some sensitive info to throw back in his face at a later date? I don't think vulnerability is in any way. Vulnerability is a catchphrase. It's a concept that came out of the 70s. It came out of the men need to get in touch with their feelings. That era, like posts like late 60s, early 70s militant feminism, when we didn't have to worry about like getting pregnant because we had hormonal birth control, right? So now men were expected to be the perfect balance, this amalgam of female and male nature, because that's and again why I keep saying that Carl Jung is full of shit. Okay, when it's this anima and animus, oh, there's a female side and the male side in every individual. Only if you believe in the blank slate. If you are a blank slate ideologist, then yeah, you probably, and everybody's equal and the ideal is androgyny. I'm just as female as I am male. That's what women really want. No, that's not what they want. They want masculinity is what they want. And now here we are, some almost 50 years past all of that. We're pretty well settled on the fact that opposites attract. You know, they're not looking for vulnerability. They're not looking for female vulnerability in a man. Okay. They want strength. They want dependability. They want, especially now, because all these guys have taken it to heart 4 generations since the boomer generation, that everybody, we should all be vulnerable. We should cry it out. Like those guys who are floating around like manatees in that pool, or those guys who are just like Arnold and the squeezing their thing. Like those men's retreats. Everybody's got a man bun or a chin bun. The Justin Baldinis of the world, the state approved masculinity site that they want to divert all my traffic to, those guys, they're being vulnerable. That's our vulnerability workshop. They're floating there and some guys crying it out with them and kissing them on the fucking cheek, man. Like that's just this side of like homoeroticism. That's no, where all that's based in? It's based in female therapy. What's that therapy based in? It's based in Carl Jung's psychology that has been disproven, has been outdated for half a century now. Men do therapy by going and doing things, by talking it out, by going in and having mutual interests that they can have conversations while they're doing. Men are problem solvers. Men have the best conversations and do their therapy when they have a collective project to work on. When we can go out together and hunt the woolly fucking mammoth or the caribou or whatever and bring it back to the tribe. That's when men do their therapy. But no, because we have decided that the female experience is their female existence and the experience of females is the correct way to interpret masculinity. That's why you get manatee pool. That's why you get chin bun. That's why you get man bun. That's why you get these, just this side of queer, Justin Baldini, who should be serving me my fucking latte at Starbucks instead of like tearing off my traffic. And by the way, I want to point something else out. These motherfuckers had to approve that. Diverting Hate basically takes out ad buys to redirect my traffic over to Justin Baldini, to Man Enough. I'm still putting this out there, man. Baldini, if you're watching this, I want you to come on this show and explain yourself, because he had to approve that. He had to say, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, divert Rolo's traffic over to mine. Oh, you're going to do ad buys with taxpayer dollars and those ad buys and I get it for free? Fuck yeah, go ahead. Okay. You are now, any integrity that you had is questionable at best. So my challenge to Baldini is if he wants to come on the show, or if he wants to even come to Vegas or whatever, I'll sit across the table from him and I will challenge his ass. Say, why did you think that was a good idea? You're willing to take taxpayer dollars to advertise your shit and essentially slough off traffic from my viewership. Why did you approve of this? Did you know what this is all about? Oh, you did? Well, why should anybody take you seriously anymore? Where to go? Rolo, what I respect and appreciate about you and your work is that you're blunt, factual, and real. You help guys figure things out. Thank you. Well, thank you too. You know what? Here.
I'm like, man, Rolo, sometimes you don't get no hoes, man.
I still don't get hoes. I still don't get hoes. Could have hit me up. I was about 20 minutes away from the rally. Oh, wife's coworkers were touching the stage. Happy Sunday, Rolo. Hope you're well. Oh, Kyle, thank you. Yeah, Kyle actually was saying that he was fairly close to what was going on in Pittsburgh yesterday. No, Pennsylvania yesterday. Was it Pittsburgh? Women who defend their man don't want to admit that they regret the decision, dodging accountability. Yeah, but it's also an ego association too. Because if you remember, do you remember what I said about ego investments? Okay. What is an ego investment? An ego investment is you invest part of your personality in a belief set so that, and so thoroughly that when anybody attacks that belief set, it's not just an attack on the belief, it's an attack on your personality. So, and it's usually religion. It could be politics. It could be political ideology. It could be blue pill, your understanding of intersectional dynamics. People become ego invested in a lot of things, including myself. Everyone is ego invested in something. Okay. So there's no getting around that. But what happens is what is an ego investment? An ego investment is something that is you so thoroughly believe that is so intrinsic to your personality. It's a belief that creates part of your identity depends on that particular belief set. When somebody attacks that belief, it's not an attack. Your brain, your subconscious, your ego does not see that as an attack on the actual belief. It sees that an attack on the person, on yourself. So that's what I was talking. That was what I was talking about when it comes to ego. Rolo, my brother, 33, no kids, married a girl, 34. Okay, off to a bad start. With 3 kids and 2 baby daddies. Off to a really bad start. When it eventually fails, I'ma hand deliver him a copy of the Rational Mail. Please do. Actually, hand it to him now. Why wait for the eventual fall? The inevitable fall. Thanks for the book, Rolo. Helped me a lot. Available on Amazon and Audible. Please go get it from Audible. And then approved the diverting. That's a bitch move. It is. Well, they would have to think about that, Thomas. They would have to. He would have had to approved that. They would. All the people on that list, by the way, that I was showing you like their logos and stuff, where it was like Andrew Tate diverted over to this thing. Like, it's funny. They use Andrew Tate as here's the bad masculinity. But Andrew Tate wasn't on the list of any of the people who are supposedly masculine supremacists. I was. Sandman was at the top of that. Sandman was more of a masculine supremacist than Tate because they didn't even put Tate on that list. There you go. Sandman, congratulations. You have now replaced Andrew Tate as the king of all misogynists. But they didn't do that, did they? They wanted to use him as sort of like the figurehead and the face of that, but they didn't use him. Andrew Tate didn't even make the list. Rolo Tomasi did. Aaron Clary beat out Andrew Tate for the masculine supremacy list. MTR beat out Andrew Tate on the masculine supremacy list. But that's what they were doing. Like, so if you looked at all those logos, like Man Enough was on there, the Good Man Project, and all this other all this mealy mouth, wishy-washy milquetoast, man bun masculinity. Those guys, they would have had to approve of that. You can't just go and buy like, hey, we're just going to buy you a fucking ad here. They would have had to say, yeah, that's cool. Sure. Go ahead. I would presume they would. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just decided, hey, you know what? These guys are better at this. Like, we want to use you guys as sort of our state approved masculinity sites. Like Man Enough is a state approved masculinity. The manatees in the pool crying it out, state approved masculinity. Those guys in the anger management video that I show, state approved masculinity. Man buns, chin buns, state approved masculinity. They'll divert my traffic over to them because that's what they want to promote. It's a violation of civil rights. It's a violation of the First Amendment. It's a violation. Also, it's also infringing on my ability to make money. It's basically crushing my traffic. I have lost ad revenue. I have lost certainly super chats because people have been pushed over from that. They're essentially squelching my ability to earn money doing what I've been doing really since 2018, and nobody had a problem with it. You got to remember that certainly this show, but like 90% of the videos that I do, with a very few exceptions, I have to get a manual review on, meaning that it gets yellow flagged by YouTube. I go, okay, request manual review within like 24 hours or maybe a day and a half. That's when they'll say, this is approved for all advertisers, or this is still remains yellow flagged and it's only approved for a limited amount of and more often than not, I get a yellow. I still stay yellow, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I get, I get the grab, probably about half as often. I'll get approved for it. Just depends on, I'll tell you what's here. Would you like to know something really funny? When I was simulcasting Access Vegas on this channel and on the Access Vegas channel, I would go and I would monetize both, and it would be on a Thursday. So Friday would come over, and then I realized, they're both yellow flagged, right? So what do? I get manual review for my channel, and I get manual review for Access Vegas. Access Vegas gets denied, and it's a yellow, but the Rational Mail is approved. Or sometimes it was vice versa. That's how arbitrary manual review is. It just depends on who you get. That's probably what's going to happen with this video too. They'll probably look at the title of it, and because I use the term shooter in the title, that's probably, I will most definitely get yellow flagged for this. But yeah, seriously, I would be very shocked if I got a green flag for this one. Like the last one I did, which was, what was the last one? I did, I should look at some of these here. Let's go and see which ones do we think, oops, not that one. Which one do we think is going to be yellow carded and which one's not? Let's go here. Oh, by the way, this was laughable. This was fucking good. Just Pearly Things quits podcast after Brittany Renner. By the way, Pearl, bye. Bye. Thank you. Thanks for playing. It's been real. Go away. I saw the video of Pearl talking about how her demonetization was the best thing that ever happened to her. Well, the best thing that ever happened to her means that she is actually going to be moving back to Chicago. She's abandoning the UK and she's moving back indoors. She's going to go move back in. She's moving home. I don't know if there's a basement there, but possibly she'll be doing something from her basement. But apparently she's got a boyfriend now. I don't know how that happened, but she's moving back to Chicago, and I couldn't be happier. So bye. Well, bye. Yeah. Who knows what happens to Pearl after all of this? Suddenly 1.5 million subs doesn't mean jack shit when you're demonetized. No, I wanted to, let's see, where did it go? Okay. Well, I'm live on this one right now. I shouldn't complain too much. Okay, so the Robert Kiyosaki interview that I did on Friday, that's green flag. The sexless marriage. Are you in a sexless relationship? That was last week's show. Yellow carded. The show before that was, can modern women ever trust men? That one got green flagged. The one before that, walk away versus rage quit. What's the difference? Okay, that one got yellow flagged. Remember the teachers, the female sex offender teacher episode I did about 4 weeks ago? Gosh, was it that long ago? Yellow flagged. We could, they don't, apparently advertisers don't want you to know about female teacher student sex scandals. Got it. However, exposed why young women prefer older men. Why do girls that? And that was from the week before that. That got green. When Mike and I debunked Mooncat on that special edition episode, green. Harsh truth about cuckolding, green. Why a woman's body count really matters, or really matters. Did I get this right? Really matters. Okay. And this was when I got Logan on the show. Green card. Red pill. Why does evolutionary psychology hate the red pill? That got greened. I can save her. Exposing the truth relationship myths debunked. Greened. Then I got this one. Here's a funny thing. How to use gold diggers. This was just a special thing. I was like, not even a 2-hour show that I did with Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto. That got yellow carded. How to use gold diggers, which is basically like older guys, younger women. That got yellowed, but then I got green carded for exposed why younger women prefer older men. That's green. So if you're wondering if there's any rhyme or reason to who gets like the manual review, I don't know. I'm not really sure anymore. Okay. What do you say? I love the EC1000. Been eyeing that one for a long time. It's really good. The abalone. I like anything that has abalone. My BC Rich, I have a Mockingbird Extreme with, it's got Fishman Fluence pickups in it, which are the ceramic ones. They're badass. And then it's got an Evertune on it. That was an expensive guitar, but it was worth every penny. It's also got the abalone inlays. I mean, if it's got abalone in it, I'm down. Don't ask me why. I just kind of like it. Stock EMGs. If they're the 86s, yes. The 81s those are usually the neck pickup. Here's what I did with mine. I pulled the EMGs out and I put let's see, I put bare knuckles painkillers in mine. I love it. But you know, like that's kind of overkill for a 2 pickup guitar. Like you only need one painkiller for like a 1 bridge pickup guitar, which isn't like most of my guitars are like that. I would get those, or you might want to get I love the silos from the silo pickups. It's a Rabea Rabia's Rabea, I think I'm saying it right. His pickups, his custom wound pickups, those are really good. The silos are really, really awesome. I sank that into the bridge pickup. The bridge pickup of my 84 Ibanez Destroyer, and it's like a new guitar. I just want to play it all the time now. Yep. Okay. I think that's good enough. So anyways, just to wrap it, just put a nice little bow on everything here. I'm fairly certain that the guy who, this guy, Thomas Matthew Crook, how you like that, will in all likelihood be cast as an incel pretty soon. And the reason why I say that is because the whole diverting hate thing that I was digging into earlier, it syncs up with this push, I should say, that we're trying to turn incels into homegrown domestic terrorists. That's what it's coming down to. And the only way we can turn them into, and by the way, incels, like self-identifying incels, are a fraction of 1% of the population. There are fewer self-identifying incels than there are people who like identify as being trans. Seriously. And that's a statistical fact. Okay. Like guys who are quote unquote incels are very, very rare. And of those guys, how many of those could be radicalized to go and, I don't know, like take a shot at Trump? That's probably what this is going to come down to. They're going to try to turn him into, I wanted to impress this girl, so I decided that I was going to go take a shot at Trump, because it can't possibly be a political motivation, right? So I guarantee you that that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, I know the kid was in a BlackRock commercial. Thanks, Infamous Rifle. Everybody's been bringing that up. But yeah, so what's the connection there? Somebody's going to come up with somebody's going to make that connection, and it'll be the next conspiracy theory. I'm sure Alex Jones will have something to say about it if he doesn't already. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way. Yeah. God damn it. Okay. I have to stop the show. Had a guitar with an Evertune. The thing made the guitar pretty heavy, especially in the tail. Yeah. Well, the thing is funny is like that Mockingbird Extreme that I was telling you, it's been in the back of my shows before. That Mockingbird Extreme is already a really heavy guitar, because it's like a mahogany guitar. It is like way heavy. I actually had to buy a bass guitar strap with padding in it, because it was like I was playing it and I love playing it, but man, that's a shoulder workout. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so what I think you're going to see coming down the pipes next is they're going to try to classify this guy as a sort of an incel shooter who was trying to impress some girl, or he was just tired of like girls not like giving him the time of day, and he just wanted to go out and in a blaze of glory. The reason for that is, and the reason why we made that list is kind of important, is because not only are we trying to turn, or we have really turned incels into the boogeyman that everybody gets paid for, but there has to be somebody who's creating the boogeyman. And that's probably going to be yours truly. That's probably going to be Rich Cooper. It's probably going to be me. It's probably going to be Aaron Clary of all people. Aaron, you're right. Sorry, Aaron. If I'm going down, you're going down. But that's what they've been trying to say, is that it's the reason why they want to limit free speech is because it's some sort of public service. And Eli Crane, if you're watching this, God, please watch this. And if you guys know how to get in touch with this guy, I've reached out to him already, and I would love to talk to him about Diverting Hate and this NGO. And he's in Arizona, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's right there at ASU, Arizona State University. That's where the McCain Institute is headquartered. That's where the money gets funneled through. Eli, please give me a call. I have all kinds of things I would like to talk to you about. And this ain't even that episode. So keep in mind that what's probably going to happen is, and one of the reasons why the DHS is ready to fund these NGOs is because they think that people like me and people like Aaron, people like Sandman, people like MTR are radicalizing incels. And if you want to know why I had such a problem with Will Costello's incel research and Alex from Date Sykes, promoting all this. And by the way, the connection between Will Costello and Not So Erudite, who was running interference for him when all this shit went down, and Not So Erudite, remember, she's also a political operative from Progressive Victory. Try dancing around that one, baby. So there's that connection. Am I saying it's all some grand conspiracy? No, not at all. If anything, I'd probably say it's probably more coincidental than anything else. But the connections are there, whether it's intent, it was intent or it wasn't. And the fact of the matter is that studies like that are a big cash cow for these guys. And then second of all, it's about painting incels as being the boogeyman, which, by the way, with this kid will most likely be painted as. And then they're going to say, well, where did he learn all this stuff? From the manosphere. Oh, really? Who's radicalizing these kids? I can't believe that those rad pill guys, and that this is where the trad cons come in, and all the trad moms who think that we're so anti-marriage and we're just corrupting these poor manipulated incel waifs, that we're radicalizing them to go and pull shit like this, which of course he didn't take a shot at women. He took a shot at Trump, but it won't make any difference because people will think that we're not giving them hope, and they're just been raised on nihilism. Yes. Oh yeah. I remember. Trust me. I remember the first incels. Yeah. I remember that guy, and they'll never let you forget Elliot Rodger, which happened 10 years ago. Literally 10 years ago. That's one of the reasons I did the female teacher thing, right? I got in trouble by saying like there were more female teachers committed more crimes and created more felonies than have been incel shooters in the past 10 years. And that's in 1 month. Where's the studies for them? Why aren't we making female teachers the boogeyman? Why aren't people saying homeschool your kids to keep them away from these female predators? Keep your boys away from these female predators. Nobody's saying that. Nobody cares. They're looking for a boogeyman, and if there is no boogeyman, no one gets paid. Well, no one also gets paid unless you can figure out who's creating the boogeyman. And apparently that's me and Aaron and everyone else, and that's what they would like to say. And I'm going to say that I hope it doesn't come to this, but if I ever go out, it's probably because of this mistaken narrative that's going on. So anyways, I've also been on record. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to say is I'm also on record of saying that like come November 6th, the whole board changes. And I'm still sticking to that. People kept saying that after what happened on Friday, or excuse me, on Saturday, that the election's basically over. We should just forget about it. And everybody, of course, is pivoting to social issues. They're pivoting to the culture war. Now we're going to hear Tim Pool talk, and I like Tim Pool, but now we're going to hear Tim Pool talk about the Civil War and everybody's Civil War this and Civil War that. Honestly, I think conservatives are too fucking lazy. And I don't think anybody, it's either freedom or it's debt, and nobody wants to go into debt. So people don't have enough they don't have enough to lose, right? They don't have nothing to lose yet. So you're not going to see any civil unrest as a result of this. You're not going to see people lose it. They're not going to march in the streets. There's not going to be any civil war because people they still have things to lose. They still have to make a money. They still have to like pay for their kids' college funds. They still have to go to work on time, right? You know, all these what climate protesters. People don't hate them because they're climate protesters. They get in the way of you getting to work. That's why. They're like, oh, they're sitting in the fucking middle of the road. You want to drag them out and throw them out on their ass because you got to drive through them so you can get to work. That's the priority. Like freedom or debt, man. It's just insane. But they don't have enough to lose, right? When Antifa was pulling down statues in 2020 and they're using like what demolition hammers to break into Wells Fargo Bank or get into the city hall, or they're setting what is Portland's probably still on fire from 2020. You know, when they burned down Minnesota, whatever, all that civil unrest, all that shit, that's what we're looking at. And that still wasn't enough to cause some sort of civil war. You think taking a shot at Trump is going to cause a civil war? No, it's not. If pulling down statues of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and God knows who else, St. Francis d'Assisi, I saw that one come down. They're going to go and desecrate the graves, military graves at Arlington or wherever the fuck they were doing it, right? Or they're going to set a church on fire. That wasn't enough for a civil war. What on earth makes you think taking a shot at Trump is going to cause a civil war? People are too lazy. They still have things to lose. When you get to the point where you don't have anything to lose, that's when you need to really start like counting your blessings and like, you know, duck down, duck and hide. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen yet. Not anyways. So all this rhetoric about like, so the culture war, the culture war was happening from 2020 to 2024. It was happening from 2016 to 2020. Where's that? Remember when it was in the midterm elections in 2022, and the Supreme Court, SCOTUS, right? The Supreme Court of the United States. They decided that they leaked the memo that they were going to kick Roe v. Wade back to the states. Women lost their fucking minds, right? You saw these, oh my God, they're doing all these TikTok videos. Oh, I can't believe, where's Ruth Bader Ginsburg when we need her? You know, I mean, just losing their shit. And what happened then? That's when, you know, Biden said he was going to go and forgive student debt loans, which of course are held primarily by women. That was the bone he was throwing to the little ladies during that time. Also, don't bear in mind the guy who Elon Musk, the guy who was so concerned about fertility rates and everything. This was the first motherfucker who jumped up and said, well, SpaceX and Tesla are going to a benefit to women's employment packages is if they need to like cross state lines, or they need to take time off, or they get a $3,000 stipend to go across state lines, have an abortion, and come back to work. As far as I know, he'd never stopped. That was never taken out of the bylaws. It was never taken out of the list of benefits. So for a guy who's so interested in like, oh, keeping the family together and you know, I mean, all he does is breed anyways. But for a guy who's like so concerned with like fertility rates, he still doesn't care. He still wants to make sure that chicks can go, his girls can cross state lines, give him $3,000, have an abortion, and come back. So you got to look at the whole picture, man. But you want a prediction? Here's my prediction. The prediction is that by November 6th, the day after the election, which by all observation, all intentions right now, is going to go to Trump. You will see just how quickly all this social issue stuff dries up, all this culture war shit dries up, everybody pivots. Everybody pivots right now, except for Rollo. Rollo can't pivot because Rollo doesn't pivot. I can't. How can I pivot? What are you going to pivot to, Rollo? Fishing channel. I'm now I'm a red pill fishing channel. That's what I would pivot. I wouldn't go into social issues. I'd go into a guitar channel, right? I got a Warhammer channel. How about that? Something I enjoy, at least. I don't enjoy talking about social issues. I don't enjoy talking about that shit. But all these people who are not about the red pill and have never been about the red pill, that's when they want to be red pill adjacent right now. I love that euphemism. I'm not really red pill. I'm just red pill adjacent. No, you've made a good chunk of change off of being red pill, and everybody considers you red pill. But when it's not popular anymore, or you think you're going to get demonetized, then you're red pill adjacent. No, you're a sellout is what you are. You're pivoted out of the red pill, and because you were never about it. You were about your own brand. You're about your personality brand. And if Red Pill's not playing as well as it used to, and and now all the cool kids are over on this playground that's called social issues. You're pivoting into politics. You're pivoting into culture war shit. You're pivoting into conservative politics. You're pivoting into this, whatever. All that tells me is that you're a rooter. You're a rooter and you're a poser, and you care more about you. The only thing you really care about is your brand. Whatever it is, you're a salesman. I'm an ideas guy. You're a fucking salesman. Oh, Red Pill's not selling this widget. That's the Red Pill's not selling anymore. Hey, I want to get the culture war widget. I'm going to sell the culture war widget because that's what's going to keep the lights on my store. You were never about it. Admit that you were never about it, because when November 6th rolls around and we finally get into January of 2025, I'll be here to remind you. I will be here to remind you. Thank you for that, Sideshow Bob. Yeah. The fraud is one thing. Being a sellout is another thing. They've never been about it. You want to know why I get so fucking upset all the time? I really do. You want to see that? What do you want to see? Would you like me to bring it? I'll bring it up here. Being a sellout, I mean, there's a lot of people who are sellouts. Right? Here, think of it this way. Okay, this is a good analogy. Maybe I'll just end the show on this. Okay, here's your analogy. Okay, during the 70s, during the late 70s, disco was huge, man. Everybody was getting into disco. You were going to go to Studio 54 and everything. Disco was music. That's what everybody was getting into. And so what happened is there were certain rock stars who basically built their Rod Stewart. If you want my body and you think I'm sick. That song, that disco song. Rod Stewart never did a disco song in his life. A dance song? No. He did Wake Up Maggie, right? Rod Stewart did some, like, when in his prime, he did some really good shit, okay? Does a disco song. Kiss, to my eternal shame, does I Was Made for Loving You, which is a pretty good song, don't get me wrong. But they basically decided that, you know what, disco seems like a pretty good genre. Let's see if we can mix disco and hard rock together, and let's see where it goes from there, right? And they changed up the costumes to look more like the Commodores instead of Kiss, right? But they kind of like, so you say, well, they kind of sold out a little bit because they're doing a disco version now. Imagine Slayer. Now, this is before Slayer's time, but imagine Slayer's around then. And Slayer decides to do a disco song just because disco suddenly became hot in, I don't know, 1983. Okay? We would go, oh my God, what the why on earth would they do something like that? Well, to my I'm glad to say, happy to say that Slayer would never do anything except for what Slayer does, okay? Which is be Slayer. They can't do anything else. That's what they are known for. They're not going to do grunge. They're not going to do pop hits. They're not going to do a duet with fucking, with Taylor Swift. You're not going to see Tom Araya and say Taylor Swift doing a duet together, although that would be awesome. But they're never going to do that because Slayer is Slayer, and they've never changed their tone. They have been Slayer from 1981, 82 until 2024, which, by the way, they're still playing out. I'm going to go see them at Aftershock. Slayer is still Slayer. Tom Araya is still Tom Araya. Kerry King is still Kerry King. Dave Lombardo is still Lombardo. And I guess, well, Gary Holt's always been Gary. Of course, he's from Exodus. But they're still doing what they've done because it works and they love it and they're passionate about it. And they're one of the greatest bands of all fucking time. And you know why? Because they didn't do a fucking disco song. Because they would never even enter, it would never be an afterthought for them. And that's why I'm saying I'm never going to pivot out of the red pill, because I can't. I am the Slayer of the red pill. Okay. I can't possibly do that. It wouldn't even be a thought of mine to try to pivot to something else. So what do I have to do? I got to wait. I'm going to wait until November 6th. And I'm going to watch and see what happens. And then when 2025 rolls around, I'll probably do another podcast with somebody. I don't know. It won't be Fresh and Fit, but somebody. And they're going to ask me the same question. Do you think the red pill's going mainstream, Rolo? And I'm going to say the same thing I told Fresh and Fit in 2021, which was the year after the 2020 election. And I'm going to say the exact same thing. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't, because you get too many people who have no reason for being in the red pill who will suddenly become authorities at it, and they will suddenly ruin the red pill. The red pill by nature has to be underground. It has to be punk rock. It has to be heavy metal. It has to be something that is not in the mainstream for it to remain legitimate. And the minute that you do and you bring it in, people who have no business representing the red pill become the spokespeople for the red pill. Why does Rolo have such a problem with Pearl? That's why. Why is Rolo agnostic about the Tates? That's why. They bottled out. We're not red pill. Or then you get the guys who are not necessarily sellouts, but they're even worse. They're the lukewarm guys. They're the fence riders. I'm red pill adjacent, which gives me the option of opting back into the red pill once all this social shit doesn't play anymore. I want to reserve the right to come back to the red pill. No, you don't. Not as long as Slayer is here doing Slayer songs. So there you go. World Painted Blood was actually pretty damn good, by the way. Yeah. Repentless is good too, but I don't know. I like Gary Holt, man. In fact, I have my Blood Splatter guitar has a Gary Holt EMG in it. Rolo, reviewing art portfolios on YouTube is a good pivot. Okay, I'll do that. Would you like me to do that? Rolo can be an art critic. Rolo tomorrow. And then when AI gives me a profile, they'll put that in. He's also an amateur art critic. Yeah, there you go. This is actually me in 6th grade. Wait, this one? Hold on. This is me in 6th grade? That's not me in 6th grade. Okay. Do I have anything else for you today? I don't think I do. I think that's probably about it. Yeah, never forget, these guys are political operatives. Never forget Destiny's Meltdown, man. I am here for it too, man. I love seeing, and I don't like either one of these individuals, but I love seeing Nick go after Michaela and Michaela go after Nick. Let them fight. Please just annihilate one another. I'm here for it. I was gonna say, if you're gonna crucify the Petersons, please allow me to give you the nails. I've got lots of nails. Here you go. Go ahead and crucify both of them. I'm all about it. Please do. Mutually assured destruction between those two. Yes, go for it. Quite honestly, I think Destiny's on his way out. I think this is probably the end of it. He was never that good to begin with. And you want to talk about a guy who's just like an eel in the weeds and just goes whichever way, well, really whichever way he's paid to go by progressive victory. I think now people are beginning to see the mask fall off finally. You know, once he's off his meds, or he's got too much, he's on too much Vyvanse. Yeah, that's when the mask falls off. So keep an eye out on all this stuff. Remember, this is a very critical. I started with this. I'll end with this. This is a very critical time to understand how a narrative gets built. Everything's in its larval stage right now. The narrative is being built, and part of that narrative is going to be casting this kid as some sort of incel. And if that's the case, that's when you get this justification for the DHS spending all this fucking money on diverting hate. And diverting hate is essentially is violating my civil rights, Rich Cooper's civil rights, Aaron Clary's civil rights, and everybody else listed on that list. We are, and honestly, I think this could be a good case if we can make it stick. And I think that's also one of the reasons why they decided to delete their Diverting Hate decided to delete their Twitter presence, because they got had. People know what they're about right now. And Eli Crane is closing in. I thank God for you, Eli. Thank you for doing that. Again, contact me if you can. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. It is July 14th, 2024. And you're live in real time. You're watching a narrative created. So be aware of what's going on and remember this shit. Be able to recall this, because when people try to make up some more bullshit later on, you go, no, it got created on July 14th, 2024. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. And Access Vegas will be on. What is this? Are you familiar with Opeth? Dude, come on now. Are you familiar with Behemoth? Why don't you ask me if I'm familiar with Behemoth, right? Popular as grift. Yeah. Well, and by the way, Sideshow Bob, FYI Bob, that's the nature of the beast, man. That's just how it's going to work out. Am I familiar with Opeth? Yes. How about Iced Earth? Iced Earth. Swedish death metal. Are you kidding? That's how you know a chick is really into you. If she starts getting into Swedish death metal because she knows you're into it, that's a keeper. I kind of look like the shooter. It's the hair, right? But wait, I can't. I'm bald, remember? Roll can't be the shooter. He's bald. Wait, no, maybe he's not. We want to make him look like the shooter now. Now it's okay that he has hair. So 2 announcements. We're going to be doing Access Vegas on Thursday. That is the 18th. Hopefully I think we're going to be doing it from Red One Studios. We're putting in new cameras. We're going to have different angles. We're working on the sound. I thought the sound was passable, but I think we've got it. We're going to have it much more dialed in for the next one. I really like doing it in this studio because it's so comfortable in there. And the view is fantastic. The chicks love it. It's just a good experience, and I can't wait to do more with it. And then, we've also got that's one studio of 2 that we have in Red One Studios right now. So we got those working pretty well for us. But Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, will be on. Mike Sartain will be back, and I think it will be his first. Yeah, it'll be his first show in Red One. Yes, and don't listen to baby metal. And then let's see, I'll be back again this time. If you're interested in MOA mentoring, please check out the link below, especially if you're in the 45 to 65-year-old demographic, because myself and my partner Joe Marin are doing a new group. We're calling it Reignite. Reignite is just for you guys. It's for guys coming out of divorces. It's guys who are in that demographic, 45 to 65 years old, where we do hands-on stuff, right? We do stuff with you. Right. And it's not just going out to clubs and stuff like that. We do mastermind stuff too, but I don't even like to use that. It's just more of like a meetup kind of thing. And we'll help you with your style. We'll help you with your physique. We'll help you with your money, muscles, and game, right? Health, wealth, and relationships. That's really what we're about. We're launching really in August. So the premier event will be in August. That will be on August 15th. That's going to be at the Babes in Toyland event. That's going to be in Las Vegas. So our very first Reignite event that is partnered with MOA now will be on August 15th. And so we watch for that. I'm going to be making more announcements about that later. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or hit me up on Twitter, or hit me up however you hit me up. And then also, if you have any questions, if you want to send me a super chat or ask me a question just anytime, you can always use Minect. I'm on Minect. Minect allows you to send me a text, and for a fee, I'll respond to it. I'll give you I'm pretty good at responding, and I give pretty in-depth responses. If you want a video response, please, you can get that through Minect. And if you want something that's more long-term, you can do that through Minect as well. So if you're thinking about sending me this really long, overwritten email, and you want me to to react to it, it's probably better that you send it to me on Minect, because I'll probably get to you within a day or two. So that's what's coming up, and that's what we're going to do. So what is this? Let's see. What do you got? Wait, Juan Soto at the very end here. So thus was an Republican against Trump operative? No, we don't answer AI questions here. Sorry, my friend. There you go. All right, so check that out. I will be back on Access Vegas on Rumble, and Mike will be on his channel on Thursday. That's the next event that we have, the next outing that we have planned. And matter of fact, I got to go talk to him about that right now. So hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys got some information about this. Hope this was educational for you. It was kind of something I needed to do. It's almost like, housekeeping. I had to sort of sweep the house here. But again, stay safe, stay aware, and watch this narrative unfold as it happens. And I will see you guys when I see you.
Would you do it again? I
I need to feel on top of me. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools, please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now, let go. Bound to keep me up all night.
Gotcha, bitch!
But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Could have my life. Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up every wall while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and stopping with her head like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting messy, working up and down on your body. Ride me up and down like a pony.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Baby, we'll get down to it all night. But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things are different.
She's not a Christian!
One more again.
The Sitting Podcast has been a production of The Rational Mail. All rights reserved. 2024 registered trademark. Don't steal my stuff. Don't listen to baby metal either.
Tell these bitches to go to hell.
All right.
I feel like I just took a bath in battery acid.